We believe that you should be able to enjoy your job, enjoy your coworkers, and feel like you're making a difference. In short, we feel that you should feel appreciated. Kansas City Transportation Group is looking for a solid, honest, and reliable mechanic and auto tech. We offer flexible schedule, paid time off, and benefits for your family. If you're looking to upgrade your career and feel like what you're doing makes a difference, then apply at kctg.com.
Chiefs fans, this is the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show, presented by the Missouri Lottery. Remember to play it forward with the Missouri Lottery and CBD American Shaman. Life is better with the feather.
You probably don't need me to tell you what the final score of today's Kansas City Chiefs game was, but would you like to know the score of the Chiefs versus the Raiders for 2021 as a whole? The Chiefs beat the Raiders 89-23 this year. 41-14 a few weeks back, 48-9 this afternoon as the Raiders opened up the game on the Chiefs' 50-yard line and then only got back a couple more times through the duration of the game after that. Also, the first 48-9 game in NFL history. Lots of fun with numbers that you can have in the Chiefs' dominant victory over the Las Vegas Raiders. We'll talk about it for the next few hours here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. We'll bring you the press conferences live from Arrowhead. We'll bring you anything that we think is interesting about this game today and where the Chiefs go from here. Of course, we'll take your calls, 913-381-0810 if you want to hop in line there. Again, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. I'm guessing we get Josh Gordon and Mike Hughes. That's my guess for who we end up hearing from the podium today. In addition to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, not only did Mike Hughes have the opening play touchdown defensively, but he also had 2 punched-out fumbles in a massive game for the Chiefs defense. Offensively, Josh Gordon wasn't the number one weapon in this game. The Chiefs running backs, in fact, ended up doing most of the damage along with an excellent game from Patrick Mahomes. But Gordon gets his first touchdown as a member of the Kansas City Chiefs, got another catch later on as well. So plenty of good things to look at here. In fact, so many good things to look at from this game that picking a place to start isn't all that easy. And if you wanted to be a little bit of a skeptic, you could say, all right, so the Chiefs have absolutely obliterated the Raiders twice. Everything else in this last winning streak of games, it's now 6 in a row for the Chiefs, everything else has looked a lot harder. Beating the Raiders has looked easy. What is that going to mean come playoff time? Who knows? What is that going to mean in 4 days on Thursday night whenever the Chiefs take on the Chargers? I'm not sure, because that game is huge. That game is going to be a great indicator of can the Chiefs basically put away the AFC West, and also what will they look like against a better team than the Raiders. But the Raiders had their stretches this year. This is an excellent victory in, again, totally dominant fashion. I've got nothing but good things to take away from this game here today. The only skepticism I think you could put out there is just how is this going to shape what they do from here. But you just can't ask for much more out of a single game than this. The Browns just gave up an onside kick, by the way. The Ravens are going to try to take that game. We'll keep an eye on that as that goes closer to final. The Ravens, without Lamar Jackson, have been on their way back. It's 24-22 now.
The last I had seen of the score of this game was 24-3. And you saying that made me look up, and I just yelled, "Oh my God!"
Yeah,
nobody.
It's 24-22 now. Justin Tucker just kicked the onside kick off of a Brown, and the Ravens recovered. So keep an eye on that because, in the grand scheme of things, this game for the Chiefs today could be helpful in their continuing quest for the number 1 seed in the AFC, which is another reason that Thursday's game is a really big deal. Because if they're able to get through the rest of their season, as they have these last now 6 games, including today, the 1 seed is remarkably still on the table. Now, if the Ravens win this game, that would be unfortunate because this is a game they should probably lose. Lamar Jackson is out, by the way, and we're not sure the severity of all of that yet. We'll make judgments on the rest of the AFC later on, but let's hone in. I'm going to keep an eye on Ravens and Ravens and Browns. I'll keep an eye on that and keep you posted if anything interesting happens there. But from this game today, when you have 48-9 in a dominant victory in every metric, you get Patrick Mahomes back to averaging almost 11 yards per pass attempt. You get the entire running game working efficiently with a great big blast-off run by Derrick Gore at the end. The running game really hadn't done anything particularly flashy between the 20s, but what they did was help finish drives in the red zone. You got 3 rushing touchdowns, with the long shot being Derrick Gore's. Clyde Edwards-Helaire with 2 rushing touchdowns on the day. If that's the role of your running game in the modern NFL, that doesn't bother me one iota. Through the air, it was a weirdly, almost silent game for Travis Kelce. He made his impact, it felt like, early on, and then didn't do a whole lot more in the stat line, but it never felt like it was a part of the offensive struggles that we've seen in recent weeks. Tyreek Hill gets a pretty quintessential looking Tyreek Hill play. McCole Hardman has a nice day through the air. Darrell Williams has his receiving touchdown. Josh Gordon gets his little designed play out of the motion down there in a goal line formation. That was very cool. And it just felt like everything the Chiefs actually wanted to do today, everything that they put some amount of emphasis on being able to do successfully, they were able to do. And I think that's been one of the things that's been holding me back on some of the things over these last several weeks, even over this winning streak. They've been winning games, and as we've talked about, I've mentioned this several shows, at postgame shows in a row now. What I've been concerned about is the process, but the results of these last 5 games before today kept the Chiefs' head above water. You're not at risk necessarily of falling out of the playoff picture if you win ugly, right? You win ugly and at least you're still winning. And it looks like the Browns will survive their own best efforts here and beat the Ravens, which is more good news for the Chiefs, because the Ravens are now 56 seconds and a couple of kneel downs away from falling to 8-5. But by winning ugly, you stay in the picture. You don't hurt yourself in the win and loss column, obviously. But can you get to a point, this has been my question for a couple of weeks, can you get to the point by January where you have your offense and your defense playing their best football at the same time? Today, the answer to that question was unequivocally yes. And that is huge. That's the development today that if this ends up being reflected on Thursday, and it's a short week, a quick turnaround, and hopefully taking a little bit of the beating off of guys like Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill, and even getting the full second units in there later in the game. Those are all little perks for the Chiefs being ready to turn around in a short week. But if they play this type of football through the remainder of the season, they are right back to being not just a, but the favorite in the AFC. And if you make it to the Super Bowl, then anything can happen. The NFC is a little more complicated. The December 12th, 2021 Kansas City Chiefs are as good as anybody in the sport. The question is going to be how sustainable that is and what they can do from here. And my hope, and honestly, my leaning belief is that this is more of the start of the rest of the season than another blip on the radar. Because we've seen this from the Chiefs so many times. It's just felt like a very long time since we've seen it 2 games in a row. So it would be fantastic for this team to be able to put together a similar effort against the Chargers. But there's a ton you can take away just from this, I think. The defense was suffocating, and maybe for the first time this year, at least the first time to this extent, this defense was truly playmaking, which is, again, why I think we're going to get the Mike Hughes podium game is my hope and bet at this point. We haven't heard from Mike Hughes in a while, and I'd like to hear from him. Last week, he didn't play very much. I asked Spagnuolo on Thursday what it was that led to DeAndre Baker being the guy that played over Hughes, and Spags pointed out that Hughes was dealing with a little calf issue last week. Clearly looked healthy today. But today you had a corner punch out 2 fumbles and scoop and score on a touchdown. and not just a corner, but like your fourth one, arguably. Also should take a minute to note that obviously Legerius Sneed did not end up playing in this game today, and that our thoughts and prayers and condolences are with him and his entire family right now, because his brother was killed in Louisiana on, I believe, late Friday, and we found out about it yesterday. But he flew down to presumably be with his family and everything. So Sneed did not play today. And, you saw a little more of Tyrann Mathieu in the slot. Mike Hughes played incredibly well, especially at least at the points of creating those turnovers. And again, not that any of that is anywhere near the most important thing. I had the thought today on Sneed's side that I hope that if he was watching the game or getting texts about it or whatever, that a dominant performance from the defense this way maybe made being away from the team a little bit easier, because you just can't even imagine the emotions packed into the last couple days for the entire Sneed family. Also, if you haven't, Sam McDowell's story on Sneed and his family and his brother from about a month ago is a fabulous piece in the Kansas City Star. It's available online. You should go read. And there are a few more details about the murder on Friday night. If you'd like to read those as well, you can find all that. I'm not going to go through all the details today because it's miserable. I mean, it's all terrible. So I don't want to bring everybody all the way down, but I did want to at least point that out. And also that's one of the reasons that Mike Hughes played as much today as he did. And so again, just with all of that being said, the fact that Hughes was able to step in and get all the work that he did today and make the most out of it that way, hopefully, again, maybe makes this something that Legerius Sneed doesn't need to be thinking about while he is with his family through all of this. So to awkwardly pivot back away from that again, what you saw from Mike Hughes today, there was the tackle on Hunter Renfrow where he was out of position and chased down Renfrow and punched in front of his shins like he was trying to punch the ball out, and he made that tackle and probably saved at least a few yards, and depending on what Renfrow had in front of him, I think it was a lot of grass. Could have been a score there. But whenever you have players that make enormous turnover-creating plays, a miss here or there doesn't really stick with you because maybe they're scoring points of their own. They're creating opportunities for Tyrann Mathieu to come over, scoop that ball up, and see what he can do with it on the move. That's an incredible thing for this defense to have. And we've kind of seen it. I hope this is consistent for them, but we've seen it come in phases. The Chiefs' defense was atrocious, and then they got very stabilized and pretty good altogether. But today, the absolute swarm of turnovers that they were able to create is even another level. This is their best defensive performance of my recent memory, not even just 2021. Not only because they were suffocating in terms of the final score, but in the number of turnovers and opportunities they created for the offense. And frankly, none of us have been terribly worried about the Chiefs' defense that I've heard over the last several weeks, which is, again, maybe the craziest part of the season. The question has been, when the defense has stepped up, can this team get both sides of the ball playing their best ball at the same time? And today was a blindingly bright example of that. It's unbelievable, man. It's really just a bonkers season that has culminated in an absolute destruction of the Raiders. 89-23 this year is the final score of the two games combined. 48-9. Chiefs Raiders today. Beards, do you have time to get through these three calls here before 7? Okay, cool. We'll bring you all the press conferences live from Arrowhead. Oh, but first, you know what? Let me do a couple real quickie things, and then we'll get to the folks online right now. It's the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. I'm Joshua Brisco. Beards McFly on the other side of the glass. Rudy Salazar producing around the rest of the building. It's all brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Remember to play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. More play, more power. Powerball now on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And if you're a CBD American Shaman fan, I've got some great news. If you are a CBD American Shaman, got some sort of okay news, maybe.
I have news.
I have news. Because when Kansas City scores, you score big at your local CBD American Shaman. Our team's score is your % off. They scored 48 points today, so you get 48% off all day tomorrow. I had all this time for somebody to text me and say, yo, hey, cut the copy. They're going to cap it. Nope, didn't get that text, so I'm reading what I got. 48 points means 48% off all day tomorrow at CBD American Shaman, because life is better with the feather. If you've been waiting for a time to go try out CBD American Shaman, dead serious. No, the copy's over here now. They make fabulous products, and you are not going to find a better time to go try it out for your first time than tomorrow at your local CBD American Shaman, because 48% off is a pretty good discount. Chiefs might put up a 50 burger later in the year. I'm not sure. I wouldn't wait for it, though. Not the way this season's gone so far. CBD American Shaman next year is going to only have this deal offered 15 times out of a 17-game season, because they're just going to cancel it for the times the Chiefs play the Raiders. That's what I would do, at least. Giving away too much free product there. Anyway, thanks to our friends at both Missouri Lottery and CBD American Shaman. I know the folks at CBD American Shaman are good sports and good folks, good people. So you can check all that out and get a fabulous deal there. Let's go ahead and take a couple of calls. Also, you can watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube channels. I forgot to open up the comments on my side, so if you've said something so far in the comment section, say it again, and maybe I'll see it from this point forward, because I'm opening those up right now. In the meantime, though, Ryan is our leadoff batter on the phone lines. Ryan, talk to me. How you feeling after 48-9?
American Shaman, St. Joseph. See you tomorrow.
I'll be there.
And then also, I'll be really okay.
I actually won't. No, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna get to St. Joe tomorrow. There's no way.
Come on now, don't lie to me.
I lied.
And then also, nice shirt. Also on the YouTube.
Thank you.
Very nice shirt. Was that a handkerchief?
Yeah, it looks like my shirt. You have to watch it on the video feed. It looks like I'm wearing a giant handkerchief today.
All right, and flash hat. Anyway, but no, seriously, we're talking about practice. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, with the Raiders jumping on the logo and then lapping our field last year, I think they cared a little bit about that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. We're back. I mean, come on. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've heard so much from the pundits this week. Oh, my gosh. It's ridiculous. We're fine. Super Bowl's coming our way again. And, again, as I always say, we have Patrick Mahomes. I mean, just come on. He can carry us anywhere. The defense is now here. And what else don't we have? And somebody's going to explain it to me, because now we can run the ball too, which I think was the whole setup of the year. It's just figuring out how to run the ball with three rookies on the right side. Yeah. So Bill Belichick or whoever it's going to be, let's get our tickets now. So I'll say tickets for less. Let's go.
Go find your deals right there. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it as always. Speaking of the Arrowhead logo meeting dancing situation for the Raiders pregame, Armani Watts has tweeted just a couple of minutes ago. Thought bleep was sweet, huh? Go ahead and take that cool down lap, little brothers. The cool down lap. It turned from a victory lap to a cool down lap. That's a good line. By
the way, he is not the only Chiefs player that has started retweeting this.
Oh, yeah, hit me with it. Who else you got?
Chris Lamons, all that capping before the game, crying laughing emoji. Willie Gay Jr., 6 crying laughing emojis in a row. Those are the first ones that I've seen.
We'll keep it. We might just do a little rolling tally of Chiefs players saying and talking about that pregame festivities. For the record, I don't mind a little bit of rivalry disrespect. Obviously, a lot of us are, around here doling it out towards the Raiders right now. I think that's fun in a rivalry. The funniest thing, though, is that they came out with that. And you know what this reminds me of a little bit? If I was going to flip it around to try to not be terribly biased. I told you this at the time. Whenever I think it was Winfield hit Tyreek Hill with the peace sign in the Super Bowl, you just got to take that. You can dish it, and I'm not going by NFL taunting rules here or anything, okay? I don't want anything to do with NFL taunting rules. They have been a nightmare. But if you dish out the peace sign, you got to be able to take it back. And if you dance on the logo before the game and you get beat 48-9 and you kick a into first half field goal for the sole purpose, not of attempting to win the football game, I wanted to fight Rich Bisaccia after this happened. Me and Beards and Rudy, I was as mad at both of them as I've ever been because they were defending just that other coaches would do it. Not that it was a good idea, just that the coaches would do this. I wanted to fight Bisaccia, Beards, Rudy, the entire city of Las Vegas, kickers, because at the end of the first half, with a couple seconds left, in the red zone, not for the 35, in the red zone, the Raiders kicked a field goal. A cowardice, please don't shut us out in the first half, but we know this game is over, field goal. And if you kick a coward, don't shut us out in the first half field goal at the end of the first half, after you open the game up on the other team's logo, you have no choice but to take a bowl and a spoon and eat all the bleep that is served up to you for the remainder of not just the week, until they play next year. This is as we were talking about this yesterday on Sports Saturday. Chiefs Raiders is always a good rivalry. We went back to whatever year. It was Jamarcus Russell's first year. Jamarcus Russell and Darren McFadden, I think, were rookies, or McFadden was the year after, so maybe it was Russell's second year. It was Jamarcus Russell versus one of the Tylers. I think Penner-Palco. I can't remember. We literally talked about this yesterday morning. I've already forgotten. That's how painful it was. And they swapped games, but the Raiders won in Arrowhead. That was putrid football. And it was still a great rivalry. I remember where I was watching Jamarcus Russell beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. That's how it started. I was in a sports bar in Arizona. There's a table of Raiders fans across the sports bar that we had to listen to. I would have been like 14 or 15. And I remember that. And I remember the pain. This is as much of a drubbing as I have seen any rivals beat each other with. Like, Patriots-Jets, I may have gotten that bad at some point. But the Raiders would like to think they're not the Jets, and the Chiefs turned them into that this year. And they still got some funny business at the 50 before the game. I hope nobody in Kansas City is going to walk around angry because of that. Because of the result here, it's pure comedy.
By the way,
pure comedy.
Very quickly, I was just alerted to this tweet. The Chiefs are playing The Wheels on the Bus Go Round and Round on the PA system as the Raiders leave the field.
Really good work from whoever's in charge of that. Standing ovation, A+ work from whoever's in charge of that at Arrowhead. And somebody thought of that in advance, right? Like, that was in the system, I have to imagine, early this week. And they weren't going to play it. They knew that if they played it before the game was final, they were going to get in trouble. But as it goes final, I like a little disrespect in my sports. I really do. I think that's the spice of sports right there. Sure, you want sportsmanship and competition. Yeah, I get it. I don't want disrespect for no reason. You don't just need to be a jerk to somebody for no reason. But
the Raiders deserve it.
This is Chiefs Raiders, man. This is Chiefs Raiders. They came in last year and did a victory lap, and this year they got mollywopped. I might stop saying 48-9. I might just keep saying 89-23.
By the way, you wanted to get alerted whenever more Chiefs players started tweeting about that?
Just break into the show whenever that happens.
DeAndre Baker, all that to get beat by 39. Be humble. Shooting star emoji, shushing with the finger emoji, crying, laughing emoji.
That's really good. That's really good. Let's go back to the phones. Let's get Dan in here. Dan, I feel like you got good Chiefs Raiders energy for me. Hit me, Dan.
Hey, Joshua, how about that dominant performance by the defense? 17 seconds into the game, my Chiefs picked up the ball, going in for a score, man. Five turnovers. How about the ground game? Go with the big 66-yard run at the 51 longs. It was rare with 2 touchdowns. And I don't get it. He just got spanked a few weeks ago in Las Vegas. Derek Carr went to one game at Arrowhead. Now they do that. I don't know whose idea it was. It wouldn't surprise me if it was Derek Carr's idea. But it was a great team win. Let's take care of the Chargers Thursday night. Take care of yourself, Joshua.
Will do. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. It looked like Yannick Ngakoue may have been at the front of that. I kind of like Derek Carr, not as a quarterback, but he seems like a pretty level-headed dude for the most part, or at least a genuine one. I don't know. I would have been pretty surprised if he would have been out there. But or at least starting it. I'm not sure if he ended up out there. I think it might have been Ngakoue, though. Whoever it is, we might play more opposing team press conferences than usual later on in the show tonight, because we're definitely going to hear from Rich Bisaccia, and I would love to hear from, if Ngakoue talks, he will get questions about that. The Raiders have good beat writers on that beat. There will be some good questions from that. So there's something to look forward to in the backstretch of the show today. Next up, let's get to George. George, what'd you think of 48-9?
Oh, well, aside from CBD, you've got grocery points, you've got burgers.
Yeah.
I just learned about the one from KFC, and you can only get the KFC promotion if they win.
Oh, wow. I don't even know what that one is.
It's a buy one chicken sandwich, get one free.
Wow, look at that.
But only if they win.
Huh, okay.
Which, hey. But I got to buy a lot of groceries tomorrow.
Yeah, and I definitely don't need 2 chicken sandwiches, but I could use a little American Shaman stock up,
There you go. Sir, I would start telling you that it was going to be another ho-hum day by halftime, because at the halftime you had the Chiefs barely blanking the Raiders, and you had my dear Cowboys blanking the football team.
Yeah.
That didn't happen anymore.
Yeah, what happened there?
It's ugly. I was all set. To say, dare we dream of a Cowboys-Chiefs rematch? And it still can happen.
Sure.
But, the Bucks are still in the way. The Rams are still in the way. The Cardinals are still in the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you folks have to basically just worry about dear old Double B in New England.
Yep. Yeah. The Titans won again today. They're 9-4, but they beat the Jags. Like I said earlier, the Ravens fall to 8-5. So the early slates win all right there for the Chiefs. It's not been a bad day.
That's where I was going. I was going, realistically, if the Chiefs and the Patriots end up with the same record, what are the tiebreakers?
The Patriots have a better conference record right now, and I think by a couple of games. So that would be the tiebreaker.
So they have to lose in conference before the end of the season. Doubtful.
Yeah, and I actually think, you know what? I can get you the math here real quick. Yeah, the Patriots are 7-1 in the conference. The Chiefs are 4-4.
Never mind.
So the Chiefs need to get a game up. Right. If the Chiefs win out and the Patriots lose 2 more times, then the Chiefs will just jump them in the standings. But that would mean losing to the Colts, Bills, Jags, and Dolphins. You'd have to pick 2 probably. So it doesn't seem likely. It seems like the Patriots probably will hold on to that, which is ridiculous.
So a 2 or a 3, which ain't too bad.
No, not bad at all.
2 or a 3, and knowing it still would be a home game.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the weather has been wonderfully cooperative here in Kansas City.
Yes. No kidding.
So, the odds, as they say in a certain series of movies, the odds are in our favor.
Yeah, well, that's the other element of that. And George, appreciate you as always, my friend. Thank you for calling in. Hope the Cowboys hold on just for you.
Thank you. Bye.
See you, George. The one thing in the AFC, if it does end up being Patriots 1, Chiefs 2, obviously that first round bye is huge. Getting just time off is enormous. But if the Chiefs do hold on to the 2 seed, you guys can tell me if I'm on something here. But the idea of the Patriots losing at home to the Chargers, Bengals, Bills, I guess I'll throw the Ravens in there. Just Lamar Jackson obviously pending. They're so banged up. It is a brutal year for them. But the idea of the Patriots losing in a technical upset to one of those teams, I don't think is that far-fetched to me. And if that happens, then the Chiefs are talking about potentially being in a position to host the AFC Championship game again, which is ridiculous. But that's out there. We'll hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. We'll have them at the podium for you later in the show. We are getting Mike Hughes today. I got one. Who's the other? Is it Josh Gordon? I'm saying Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Mike Hughes, and Josh Gordon. That was my guess for our 4. Reid and Mahomes were a shoe-in, so I can only take credit really for Hughes.
I don't know. That's all we know so far.
Okay.
I think Andy Reid was the one that said that we'll hear from Mike Hughes later.
Okay, so we'll keep an ear to the ground and we'll get you those all live. We won't take a break before that happens. Well, we might actually. We'll see. We're going to get you that all live straight into your ears. But first, we got time to hear from Butch, which is always a wonderful achievement after a Chiefs victory. Butch, tell it to him.
Gentlemen, how about those Chiefs?
How about a Butch?
Hey, the wheels on the bus go round. Look, man, I say this and then I get out the way, right? Because I think we've already seen what this season means to the Chiefs thus far. It was never over with. It's never say die. They always had the talent. They always had the right guys out there. They always had the coaching. They always had a consistent message. I think we need to take also a little bit of time to appreciate. We talk a lot about overcoming adversity. It's one of those things that in the league, everybody's so cliche, right? Everyone says it. It's real. These guys are professionals. They have to think, they have to see it, think it, and believe it every single day. When things weren't going right for this team, they went back to the drawing board and said, hey, it's 1 or 2 things that you need to change. It's 1 or 2 plays. I think I get on here every day. We talk about after the game. Hey, maybe it didn't go the way we wanted, but you fixed 1 or 2 things. And then look what happens. You get results. I know it's a team that's ready to fold up in the Las Vegas Raiders in typical fashion, but it matters. 6 wins in a row, guys. This probably isn't the best team that we've seen in this stretch run. But I'll give us this much. This is the most physical team that we have seen in the stretch run. They want the ball, and they want to embarrass teams, and they want to impose their will. Guys like Trey Smith, Tyron, Juan, Sharon Reed, Chris Jones, Melvin Ingram. It matters to have butt kickers out there.
Yeah.
Everybody who's seeing this on tape right now, pay attention. It's coming for you next. Savor the flavor.
Appreciate it, Butch. Always takes us to church on a Sunday. Here's the thing. You know what? And some of that stuff that Butch mentioned there that we saw today, unequivocally, I want to make clear. I agree with that totally. Today, you saw a physical team, a team with some violence, and a team that played as if they had been disrespected by their opponent, which they had been. I mean, how much does the bulletin board material thing mean? And I often think that gets overblown. But if it works, it works. And in a rivalry like this, I think that's something. If the Eagles would have done, I guess there's an Andy Reid connection there. That might have been kind of weird. But if Washington would have had something vaguely disrespectful before the game, I don't know if that really gets stuck for these guys. But it did today, clearly. And apparently, I'm seeing a couple tweets. I think James Palmer mentioned this and all of that. The entire week, again, according to something that Palmer mentioned on Twitter, I believe, the entire week was in part about what happened last time the Raiders were here and what you can deliver back to them today. So that works, it works. But Butch mentions, like, hey, this is a team that wants to blow everybody out, a team that wants to provide some actual, like, total domination. That was true today, but I'm not sure that's been fully true against anybody else this year, other than the Raiders twice. And that's not to say that they don't have that juice for anybody else. I would think that would be a silly way to look at it. I'm not saying that they can't do the same thing against the Chargers on Thursday or against the Broncos again later in the season or against the Steelers or against the Bengals. They can do that to anybody. They just hadn't yet. And if they do that again, and if they do that consistently, tie it up. Go ahead. Bill Belichick and Mac Jones, do your best. In Arrowhead, in Foxborough, I don't care. Whoever would come to Arrowhead in the playoffs, the Chargers on Thursday, the opponent stops mattering whenever the Chiefs play like they did today. And I don't know with 100% confidence. I don't know with 100% confidence if they're able to just run this performance back with the same intensity and the same execution that they had today. Can they repeat that every time along the way the rest of the year? I don't know. But I'm definitely not telling you they can't. Because we've seen it more than just today. We saw this late in seasons, late in playoff runs. And this would be the time to start stringing those types of games together. That's kind of the exciting thing, right? If this game is the start of this version of the Chiefs being what you see the rest of the year, I don't think anybody has an answer for today's Chiefs team. The Chiefs of 6 or 7 weeks ago, totally different story. The Chiefs of a couple weeks ago feels like a little bit of a different story. But if this is another edition of getting your swagger back, or if this is the slump buster for the offensive execution issues they've had, if this proves something to themselves from a schematic standpoint, whatever it would be, if any of this rolls into the next few weeks, pick somebody else. I won't, though. Feel free to tell me that someone else has the juice to do that. I don't. I do not want to bet against what you saw today ever, which is part of the reason that seeing what we saw today is so incredibly refreshing. Because we all knew that was in there. We had seen it against the Raiders the first time, and we saw it plenty in 2020 and 2019 and 2018. This, though, it's everybody. So again, you can look at some of the schematic things, right? We talked about a few of those, and I think on some level those started getting a little bit overblown. The execution issues of things, though, it can sound like a cop-out whenever someone says, hey, what went wrong in this game? Oh, it just didn't execute. Well, okay, what does that actually mean? Well, what it can mean is drop passes that end drives. What it can mean is drop passes that turn into turnovers. Or a run play that the running back gets tripped up in the backfield. Could be anything, right? There was a play early in the game where Mahomes found Tyreek Hill. I think it was like 3rd and 8. And he was in the perfect geometric center of 3 different defenders in a zone, 15, 20, 19 yards downfield, something like that. And Mahomes hung out in the pocket. Hill got into the space. Mahomes threw a bullet. Hill caught it. You moved on. And you stayed alive on 3rd down. How many bleeping times this year did that pass get dropped? Or, worse, tipped up into the air, picked off, and run back? You didn't have any of those moments today. In fact, the Raiders had all of those moments today. Derek Carr gets sacked. He's rolled down on the field. They look at it and actually, yeah, clearly that was a fumble. Should have been a touchdown, but got Derek Gore a score later, so that works for me. You have the punch-outs of Mike Hughes. You have one of those happening with Jarran Reed punching the ball out and Hughes returning it on the first play from scrimmage of the day. You've got, boom, 7 on the board. Not just because the luck has gotten better, or less bad even, because it was miserable for the longest time in there. But slowly that ends up being the sign of a team that goes from being cursed to blessed, or from having bad bounces to getting good ones, or failing to execute in all of these different situations, these different circumstances. The drops and the fumbles, not to belabor the point, but like Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumbles against the Ravens win that game. Clyde fumbled in the red zone today, fell on it. That you'll take that. That's fine, all right? And was able to score in the red zone Twice. Today. You get bad bounces, bad luck, bad execution. Those things just feed on each other. Today, there was not a mental error that was debilitating. Tyrann Mathieu got a taunting penalty for, I think, talking in the Raiders' general direction. The Raiders should have had to have taken the opening kickoff back 15 yards for having their pregame huddle on the logo. If that's not taunting, what is taunting? This is an incredibly fun midpoint of your Sunday. It'll be interesting to see what happens throughout the rest of this NFL day and where we are all feeling whenever Thursday gets here, what will feel very, very, very quickly. But if the Chiefs can keep this momentum, execution, luck, whatever it is, really, I think it's a combination of all of those things. If they can keep that into Thursday Night Football in prime time with everybody watching on a weeknight, I think the narratives are going to get whiplash in terms of what the AFC looks like. We'll take a break here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. Whenever we come back, we'll hear from Mike Hughes live at the podium. Somebody else, presumably, live from the podium. I'm hoping maybe Josh Gordon. It would be nice to hear from him after he had his first Chiefs touchdown today. And if it's not him, maybe it's Clyde, maybe it's Darrell Williams, maybe, I don't know, we'll figure it out. Plus, later in the show, we'll hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes as well. The show is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Remember to play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. More play and more power with Powerball with Double Play. For an extra $1, players have the chance to win up to $10 million in a separate drawing. Missouri Lottery. Play responsibly. It's also brought to you by CBD American Shaman. Free CBD samples every day.
You're listening to exclusive post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB. Presented by the Missouri Lottery and CBD American Shaman.
The Whole Person connects people with disabilities to the resources they need to live independently and enjoy the many opportunities this great city provides. We're focused on creating a fully accessible community where opportunities and choices are not limited by disability. The Whole Person delivers programs and services that enhance the confidence of people with disabilities by providing the skills needed to live, learn, and work in the Kansas City Metro. The Whole Person serves both Missouri and Kansas. Learn more by visiting thewholeperson.org.
Hey guys, it's Grunny here for my friends at CBD American Shaman. Man, I love football and I love big scores. When Kansas City scores, you score big at your local CBD American Shaman stores the day after the game. If Kansas City puts up 30, it's 30% off all the next day at your local CBD American Shaman store. If they put up 50, you got it, 50% off all the very next day. Now that's a big win. CBD American Shaman. Life is so much better with the feather.
Roberts Robinson Chevrolet Buick GMC. Right now, they're one of the few dealers in KC that includes a free lifetime powertrain warranty on all new vehicles. Can you imagine driving a truck for over 200,000 miles and having the transmission replaced for free? That's what this lifetime warranty offers and more. Don't go to another dealer that sells you a 3-year, 60,000-mile warranty. Go to Roberts Robinson and get the lifetime warranty. Check them out online at robertsrobinson.com or view their Roberts Robinson Facebook page. See dealer for details.
Hey, this is Nate Bucati from my buddy Gary Joslin and Joslin's Jewelry. Look, it's the holidays. What a perfect time for an engagement. At Joslin's, you'll find over 500 rings to choose from and over 100 pendants. If you want to work with a real Kansas Citian and get a great diamond at a great price, just go to Joslin's, 95th and Antioch in Overland Park, and online at joslinsjewelry.com.
Joslin's Jewelry, for the best that's yet to come.
If you're looking for a new vehicle the whole family can agree on, come to Robert Brogdon's Olathe Kia. The award-winning 2022 Kia Telluride puts the fun in functional. It's full of advanced technology and safety features with a spacious 3-row interior design for passenger comfort. And all new Kias are backed by a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. Command the season and save during the holiday sales event. Robert Brogdon's Olathe Kia, just a short drive from I-35. Visit OlatheKia.com. Warranty is a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details. This holiday season, Alta Sciences is giving back and partnering with Giving Hope Food Pantry Kansas City. If you're in the Overland Park area, come and experience Alta Science's annual Holiday Music Light Show at 10103 Metcalf Avenue in Overland Park. The entertainment will run every day from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. starting December 1st through December 31st. There will be an opportunity to make donations to Giving Hope Food Pantry during the event. Visit altasciences.com/AltaGivesBack2021 for details. We look forward to seeing you there. Happy holidays.
Hey Kansas City, it's Dustin Colquitt. Did you know that on average, Americans spend about 15 hours shopping for a car? That's almost 5 football games. If you have better things to do with your time and want to avoid stress, check out the concierge service at OneRequest.com. The OneRequest concierge team will find your car, negotiate the deal, review the paperwork, and arrange delivery. You got a trade-in? They'll handle that too. Experience car shopping made easy at OneRequest.com. Don't forget, that's OneRequest.com.
Get fast and reliable internet from Xfinity for $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And ask how to get 6 times the internet speed for the same internet price when you add Xfinity Mobile. Or learn how to get $200 back when you get gig speed internet during the Xfinity Black Friday sales event. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay. Ends 12/6/21. Restrictions apply. New Connect 50 megabits per second customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. After term, regular rates apply. Reduced speeds after 20 gigabytes of mobile usage.
Diamonds Direct is giving you one more holiday gift of 25% savings just in time for Christmas. A last-minute sale on all earrings this weekend. Yes! Save an unprecedented 25% off all earrings at Diamonds Direct. Diamond earrings, sapphire earrings, gold earrings. Get Diamonds Direct's unbeatable price plus an extra 25% savings. All diamond studs are included, so this is huge. Special financing, too. It's Friday through Sunday only. A truly epic earring event at Diamonds Direct. Details, directions, and more at diamondsdirect.com.
More play and more power with Powerball with Double Play. For an extra $1, players have the chance to win up to $10 million in a separate drawing. Plus, players have 3 nights a week to play Powerball. Now Monday nights. Every ticket you play creates opportunities for Missouri students. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. Play responsibly.
The wheels on the bus go round and round.
Kansas City now 3rd and goal. They are inches away. Toss it inside. Josh Gordon. Touchdown. Chiefs. First of the season for Gordon. Every week you look at the roster and you ask yourself, is this guy going to play a role? Well, here he is.
Come on, ride the bus. Hey, come on, ride the bus with us.
If you didn't hear this, this is a weird remix, but apparently the Chiefs were playing this song as the Raiders left the field today. After last year, the Raiders came to Arrowhead, won the game, and took the team bus around and around Arrowhead Stadium. Today, they lose 48-9. That touchdown you heard from Josh Gordon, his first as a member of the Kansas City Chiefs, and it is our sweet play of the game, brought to you by Andy's Frozen Custard. It's always the season at Andy's Frozen Custard. Stop by now for their famous Santa Brownie Sundae made with store-baked brownie, or try the Andy Nog Shake, perfect for a midday pick-me-up, and make it rain Andy's gift cards this holiday season. A perfect stocking stuffer, starting at just $5. Andy's Frozen Custard, we know where you got that grin. Not just from watching the Chiefs crush the Raiders today, but also because Andy's Frozen Custard is wonderful. The Santa Brownie Sundae sounds like a game changer. Sounds absolutely wonderful. I would like to indulge in that right now. I'm Joshua Brisco here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. No injuries to report of significance from the Chiefs today. So that's obviously a positive early development here. We will hear from Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes a little bit later on in the show. And in the meantime, we're expecting to hear from Mike Hughes pretty shortly, and then presumably somebody else, but I don't know if we know who else just yet. But Beards, give me a quick little indication. We feel like we're still a little ways away from Mike Hughes and whoever else. It sounds like we are. Let me give you real quick just another look at what's going on around the rest of football right now. I'm not going to go full scoreboard update here. But because all of this stuff really matters. Right now, both the Broncos and Chargers are up 14-7 against the weak NFC competition that they're both facing today. Chargers over the Giants, Broncos over the Lions. Those games are both early in the second quarter, 12 minutes and change, actually, in both of those games. So the AFC West looking like it's not going to change for anyone other than the Raiders today. The Bengals down by a field goal early on against the 49ers. The Bengals set at 7-5, so it could potentially be relevant to the Chiefs in the AFC. The Ravens, though, most importantly from this slate of games, they're 8-5 after losing to the Browns as Lamar Jackson was hurt early in that one. But the Titans go to 9-4, neck and neck with the Chiefs, but with the tiebreaker, of course, after they shut out the Jaguars 20-0. So right now in the AFC, the Chiefs are still a full game back of the Patriots and the tiebreaker. And we're going to go out to Arrowhead right now. We don't know who's at the podium, so we'll all find out together.
And I'm proud we got the W. Probably yesterday afternoon. While we were going through some plays and stuff, Coach gave me the heads up. So.
Like you seen the pack a mean right cross. How often do you practice?
Wait, can you say that again?
A mean right
cross. Oh.
That nice little punch you have.
Right.
How often do you practice that? Are you a former boxer?
No, I'm not a former boxer, but we practice that weekly. Turnover drills during practice. Just different ways to create turnovers for the defense. We practice those situations, and multiple situations like that came up today, and I had my opportunities and made the play. So felt good.
Obviously, Chiefs cornerback Mike Hughes live here on Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City.
I did once in high school, but I was a quarterback, so that's a little different. But it's always good to get a fast start like that. I think that was huge for our success today. Jumped on them quick, and I think that fueled everybody, and it got the team going. So it felt good to get on top of it.
Sorry, have you had any contact with Legerius? How much was he on your mind today?
He was on everybody's mind. Before the game, we said that we were going to play for him, and we always just we got our brothers back. No matter what's going on. I think he's dealing with a tough situation right now. I won't get into it. That's his business. But we wanted to play for him today, and we went out there and did that. So that felt good to get that dub for him.
Things started to get chippy out there a little bit. How much conversation and trash talk was there after they stopped on the logo before the game, and obviously you guys put it on them in the first half? There was seemed like there was a lot of conversation going on.
So, I didn't hear about the logo thing until after the game, but that's pretty disrespectful, But I'm glad we jumped on them the way we did. They came in here, and I mean, I can't really explain that. Like, I know one of our guys wouldn't do that. So, we just came out there and played ball, man. We try to not to get into the trash talk. Those refs are, they're ready to throw these flags, so, we got to be careful.
Mike, can you describe what you saw on the first play of the game that led to you picking the ball up and scoring?
Jay Reid, he made a good play on the ball. Got the secured the tackle, punched the ball out, and I just happened to be in the right spot, and I took every advantage I could of the opportunity, and turned out well for me.
And what about, on the walk through you saw on both those and the fumbles that you were able to force in the game?
Say that again, sorry.
Could you walk through what you were seeing on the fumbles that you were able to force?
Oh, yeah. Those guys were carrying the ball pretty loose. I saw some soft spots, and, I took my shots, and like I said, they worked out today. And, it's always good to create turnovers and, get our offense back on the field. So, that's all that matters is that we got the dub. Defense came to play, offense came to play, and, we're all happy that we won today. So.
Mike, can you explain sort of your difference in comfort level being the starter on opening day versus going through most of the season, different positions, different roles, and obviously having the opportunity this time?
My mindset is always coming to, help wherever the team needs me, and that's how I try to approach the game. No matter where they try to put me, I'm willing to do it if it's going to help the team. So that's all that matters to me.
I think you scored your only other career NFL touchdown in your first career game.
Mm-hmm.
Did you think you'd be finding the end zone a little bit more?
Yeah, I mean, I do a little bit of returning, so eventually I knew I was going to get in there. Didn't know how, and there's no better way than getting the fumble recovery and running in for 10 yards. It felt good, and I'm just happy we got the victory. So that's all that matters to me.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Chiefs cornerback Mike Hughes live here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. You heard Kansas City. You heard him mention there that obviously everybody was thinking about Legerius Sneed and his family leading up to this game today. His brother was killed on Friday night in Louisiana. Sneed not with the team today. In fact, Sam McDowell of the Kansas City Star reported that he actually was on a flight with from a flight via Patrick Mahomes to go be with his family. So thoughts with his family as well. Here's Tyrann Mathieu live at the podium.
Just wanted to play for him today. His family. And I felt like we did that. I thought we started the game with some Legerius energy, and so we kind of kept it going throughout the game. Yeah, I spoke with him a couple times, but I think for the most part, you want to give people their space, let them grieve, and let them enjoy the time with their family. But every now and then, send them a text or try to call them, FaceTime them.
Three straight games, you guys are allowed 9 points. Since you've been here, do you have this much confidence in where the defense is as you do right now?
We won the Super Bowl, but I think outside of that, I think anytime, you could kind of get back to who you think you are, who you want to be, especially with the way we started the season. So I think a lot of that credit, has to go to coaches, and players too as well. Because I think for the most part, none of the coaches panicked, and then none of the players panicked. So I thought that, gave us a chance to kind of get back to, who we thought we could be.
When you look at this game and how you all have played over the last 5-6 weeks, how important is it knowing going in the third game, a team that is from the Arrowhead and beat you, and now that can also put up points? How good is it that the defense is playing the way that it is, that you can take the travel with that to Los Angeles?
Yeah, I think it's important. I think anytime you can get late into the season and your defense, starts to come alive, it always goes back to that old quote, defense wins championships. And so I think as a unit, we're just trying our best to get better, each and every week, and really give our offense as many possessions, as possible. I thought we've been doing a great job just getting to the quarterback and then taking the ball away. So, which both of those things, results most of the time in Patrick getting the ball back. So that's really just been our mindset, just trying our best to be a unit that complements the rest of the team.
But also how important is it because earlier in the season you all weren't able to create turnovers, give the offense extra possessions, and now that you all have created those turnovers, you're actually doing something with it on the offense side of ball scoring. So
yeah, I think that's why it's a team game. I think with our offense, they got the ability to, really strike at any moment. So, like I said, as a defense, we know that the offense can rely on us and vice versa. So I think at the end of the day, it just builds, team confidence. And whether you're on the road or at home, I think every unit understands that they can play off of each other.
Mike said he didn't know about the logo stomp by the Raiders until after the game. Did you know about it before the game? And when you found out, what was your reaction?
No, I didn't know about it. I found out about it post-game. I had an on-field interview, and one of the guys mentioned it, but it doesn't really move me. I don't think champions, really act in that manner. So, yeah, I don't even matter.
How impressed are you with Mike Hughes being able to step in and make big plays right from the beginning, considering,
Yeah, his time has been coming, for a long time now. Obviously early in the season, him kind of still getting adjusted to the defense. It took some time. I think right now, he's playing with that confidence, that swagger, and he's one of those guys. Every time he's around the ball, he's trying to punch it out or rip it out as well. So, like I said, that just that in itself, is energy, is creating energy, and that's what our team defensive. That's what we feed off. Yeah, I got a text at like 5 that morning. It was like, hey, we're going to do this week. And I was like, all right. For the most part, obviously I got a good feel for, all 5 positions back there. And I think, I'm one of those guys that can go play really anything and kind of get us through the game, out the game. So, and then it always feels good when you can kind of go back to the position that you first started at. It just kind of makes you feel young again. So, Yeah.
I know it's the other side of the ball, but I'm curious over the last few weeks, what have you seen the offense work through to get back to what appears to be its usual self?
Yeah, I think, those guys have a championship foundation. And really, no matter what those guys go through, especially the rough patches, I think what those guys have built over the years, they can always rely on that. So, like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, it's no panic. None of those guys are panicking. And I think that's important. We talk about team and then team chemistry as well. So it's only a matter of time for those guys to start to get the rolling. And, I think as a defense, we can get those guys some extra possessions. I think that does those guys, it does well for those guys.
A couple more guys. How have you seen the front four come on, and how much do you sense that's really helping you guys in secondary?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our defense is built on that. Those guys up front, really controlling the game and taking over the game. And, from there we have different coverages that kind of, allows me and, obviously Legerius to kind of be who we are. But I think when you look at our defense and just the philosophy of it is those big boys up front. And so it's good to see those guys, just continue to not turn it off. You know what I mean? And, I think just that alone just resonates with the whole team.
Sorry, you were asked earlier about the past few weeks holding teams to 9 points. What kind of message does that send to the rest of the league? That you guys, it's just not the Chiefs' offense that is giving wins to the defense.
I mean, we're a complete team. Special teams. I think defensively, we have some great players, really at all three levels. And offensively, those guys have been able to break a lot of records, the last couple of years. And I think really the only thing on our mind is, complimenting our team. How can we, be of a benefit to the rest of the team? So, it just comes down to really commitment and staying committed to each other. And, us being the reason that we want to go, where we want to go. So, as long as we can continue to keep team first, I think we'll continue to get better.
Last story, starting with that. Real quick, talk about the secondary as a whole. Throughout this winning streak, you guys have been playing good football. Someone's come with a big save last week. You got an interception, you got to make a play. Talk about Mike Hughes and talk about the secondary as a whole.
Yeah, we got good coaching, man. Dave Merritt, even Spags, those guys do a great job with us, really communicating with us, being able to, allow guys to play to their strengths. And then I think, too, really in-game adjustments and really in-week adjustments when you're trying to prepare for a team or give them a new wrinkle, give them something different to look at. I think a lot of that credit, has to go to the coaches. But I think us as players, we just want to set the tone. We want to set the tempo. We want to be a part of the reason why, people watch the Kansas City Chiefs. And so, I think that obviously falls on leadership and just our preparation throughout the week, just trying to find something, to get better at.
I just wanted to clarify. You said you got a text at 5 a.m. about playing the slot. Was that yesterday or today?
It was Saturday morning. Saturday morning. Yeah, Saturday morning. Yeah.
A lot of talk about the Chiefs getting their swagger back, right? What does that mean to you in your opinion?
I don't know. I'm just trying to stay humble. I understand it's it's a long season. It's the NFL. Anything can happen. But I do feel that confidence growing. I do feel that our preparation is really continuing to rise. And I think that has a lot to do with with the success we've been able to have the last couple of weeks, especially defensively. I think it comes down to a lot to of how we prepare.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Here's Chief safety Tyrann Mathieu after another fabulous performance from the Chiefs defense. A total defensive renaissance for this team over the last month and a half, 2 months, whatever it's been. And I don't think there's been a better performance than their performance today. An absolute turnover fest, and we're able to hold the Raiders below double digits. A 9-point game with 4 forced turnovers. Was there a fifth one that got called back? I remember there being talk of 5, and then there was the Derek Carr one that was, and then wasn't, and then was again. Ultimately, it was 4 fumbles and a pick. It was 5 total turnovers, 4 fumbles and a pick. Derek Carr on that hit from Alex Okafor, 2 punch-outs from Mike Hughes, the punch-out from Andy Reid on the very first play of the day, and the interception of Derek Carr. Just an amazing defensive effort all the way around for the Chiefs. Tyrann Mathieu on the pick, obviously. There, I mentioned everyone else, but Mathieu at the pick, the forced fumbles, the 9-point defensive effort, just remarkable. And Tyrann Mathieu, Mike Hughes, both today at the podium, both today getting a lot of very well earned credit. Josh Gordon at the podium today as well. His first touchdown as a Chief. Let's hear from Josh Gordon.
Yeah, I wasn't for sure it was going to be up this week, but we've been practicing it for a couple weeks. Coach Reid's been reassuring me that I was going to get my opportunity, and I had my trust in him. You know, I knew whenever that time was going to come, you know, I was going to be ready. So I made sure that was the case today, and it worked out well.
Have you been frustrated by your performance thus far? I know you've been one that get in the end zone, catch a few passes. How would you rate your performance so far?
I'm not happy with where I'm at. I think that's just me being a hard critic on myself. But I'm also aware of, you know, where I'm at and how blessed I am to be in this position. You know, so I take every day, you know, with pride and joy, and just no matter what happens and what I'm able to do, you know, I think it's a win for me personally. So the rest of that, I think that's just me trying to be a competitor.
What's been the toughest part for you, jumping in, trying to pick up Andy Reid's offense mid-season like you've had to check the
I've done it in the past, I think a few times. So, you know, sometimes it feels like a whirlwind, but it's just extra time, you know, with coaches, watching film or at home. Any free time I get, I'm trying to do a little extra, you know, because I have to, you know. So just putting the time in to study the play, study the film, the nuance, and then getting better at knowing exactly what Pat wants to do, how he wants to do things, and that comes in at practice. And obviously practice, there's a bunch of mistakes for me, but repetition has been the key. So and he's been patient with me, which I appreciate that. So
Having been part of other rivalry games with other teams, how did the atmosphere at Arrowhead today compare to some of the other atmospheres that you experienced in your career?
Well, I think this one's pretty big. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know much about it prior to getting here, but as soon as I got here, it was the first thing I was told. You know, just watch out for Raider Week, and I love the energy because I love the competitive nature of all the guys, and you know the attitude the coaches have and the players have and the entire staff has about this week, and then the animosity towards it personally, whatever may have happened in the past, recently, you know, or recently today, from what I heard, you know. Apparently, you know, I guess the success we had today was warranted. So, you know, it was, you know.
Josh, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but I think entering today, depending on certain metrics, you guys as a team led the league in drops. There were no drops today. I just wonder if there was something that Coach Blakemeyer and Derek Benning and the offense sort of did to make you guys sort of refocus, or if it was just a collective group of the receivers and the tight ends making a more concerted effort. And if it's even different catching the ball from Patrick versus, you know, some of the average quarterbacks you played with before.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a change in velocity. I think for me that was a big thing. Kind of being unaware to how quick the ball gets on you, and then obviously I've been out for a little while, so I'm realizing, all right, I got to knock this rust off. And it was interesting to see I wasn't the only one dealing with that issue. So, you know, I think a lot of times we expect it to come a little bit easier because we've been doing it for a while, but that attention to detail that happens at practice, it happens off the field, going the extra mile. The coaches have been big helping us with that during the breaks at practice. So we've been making it a point to make sure we do our part on that end.
Josh, you've been with different teams. What jumps out at you about this group that you've joined, both as football players and as an organization?
The energy, the liveliness towards wanting to be successful in football. You know, I think in life as well, but they're a very tight-knit group, very familiarized, I think, with each other and knowing what to expect from each other. So I think that builds a certain type of rapport and trust with each other that they can count on each other without having to second guess. So I've noticed that. I've noticed Coach Reid has allowed the players to interact in a way that's very genuine. And he always talks about us showing our character. And, you know, and being other places, that's not always the case. So I definitely appreciate him for that because I think it allows the players to be their best selves.
Pete,
Josh, you mentioned that you and Patrick are still working to get on the same page. I was wondering if you could elaborate on maybe what extra steps the both of you are doing to kind of get there.
It's probably more me. I'll be honest, it's more me. I think I just need to sometimes, I've been too slow, I need to speed up, and vice versa, and sometimes I need to slow down where I'm trying to, I got a long stride, I might overstride something where he's saying maybe slow down and stop right there in that hole, and I'm like, okay, I don't need to be so rigid, I think, in how it is on paper. I'm seeing how it's drawn up, and I want to do it exactly how I see it. And it's not as robotic as it may seem. So, I kind of gotta just play ball as opposed to being so analytical about it.
Josh, this may be the same answer, but in case it's different. When you mentioned knock the rust off, what are you referring to? Like, what are sort of the hardest things you've been away from football?
I think the fluidity in which I probably used to move. I think I've noticed like maybe. I'm second guessing my movement, and saying like, do I still feel as fluid, and can I do it consistently, so probably just self-doubt, a little bit more than anything, and but once that goes away and fades away, I think today was a big help towards me moving in the right direction with that, so a lot less second guessing and more just playing. So.
Last one, hey Josh, you had mentioned the need to be patient, but even the Coach Reid told us that since you've been here, there's some things that you do that don't appear in the box score. How much pride do you take as being a blocker down the field, and what goes into being an effective blocker as a wide receiver?
Well, I think it's just a mindset, and I think coming in, I was anticipating maybe not to get the ball as much, so I was like, all right, how can I, implement my own footprint on this team if I'm out there, and I think that was blocking. And knowing my physicality and the size I've been given with, and I'm like, okay, let's go 110% at everything else, before things get going. So I take pride in that, and I think the other receivers do as well.
Just a quick follow-up to that. You mentioned your size. Have you ever noticed any cornerback eyes widening up when they see you bearing down on them?
They talk about it after we, they notice it's like, man, you really are kind of big dude. I was like, well, yeah, it's different than watching film, so yeah.
Thanks, Josh.
Appreciate it.
There's Josh Gordon, clearly his biggest game as a Chief so far. And the touchdown, his first of his Chiefs career. That also concludes our locker room report. We'll get to Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes later on, but the locker room report's been brought to you by Twin Peaks.
The Chiefs Locker Room Report is brought to you by Twin Peaks. No one does football like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference, they have everything from tequila cocktails and an extensive bourbon category to top shelf spirits and cocktails served over ice balls. Local craft beers and handcrafted whiskey cocktails round out an adventurous drink menu, second to none. And don't forget about their 29-degree man-sized drafts at Twin Peaks.
We'll take a break here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. We'll come back and we'll hear from Reid and Mahomes. We'll eventually talk to our good friend Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest. We'll keep an eye on everything else going on around the league. And also, I've got a stat for you about Patrick Mahomes. We'll bring you all of that and a lot more whenever we come back on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You're listening to exclusive post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Remember to play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. More play, more Powerball. Now on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturdays.
At BOK Financial, we believe that no financial challenge is too big and no opportunity too small. We're guided by our commitment to make a difference in the communities we serve. BOK Financial, we are community focused. The holidays are a time in which we say thanks, and Audi of Shawnee Mission wants to say thank you to all their loyal customers. If you've always wanted an Audi, call now during Audi's Season of Audi sales event, and come see why Audi Shawnee Mission is rated one of the top dealers in the Central region by Audi of America. Stop in at Audi of Shawnee Mission and experience their brand new state-of-the-art facility. It's easy to get to directly off I-35 in Merriam, off I-35 and 67th Street, or find them online at AudiShawneeMission.com. Come check out what it means to drive the rings.
Have you tried learning a new language but it never seems to stick? That's because there's more to language than learning vocab words. Babbel is different. Babbel's multiple ways to learn helps you explore every aspect of a new language, anytime, right from your phone or computer. Practice real-life conversations in the Babbel app.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Get personalized help from an instructor in Babbel's live online classes.
Classes are limited to 6 people. We keep them small so everyone can get the help they need.
Review words and phrases with fun games, or dive into the culture with short videos. Everything from the interactive lessons and live online classes to the podcasts and videos will teach you things you'll actually use, so you're ready for real-life conversations. With Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com to start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com, Babbel.com.
Football season is heating up, but is your furnace ready to tackle another cold Kansas City winter? Better call Bob and get a $99 furnace safety inspection and cleaning. Your team is counting on you. Time for a new furnace? Get a brand new one for just $68 a month. Bob Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, Rooter, and Electrical. Better call Bob.
Call 888-4BOB. Remember 913.
Ryan Radke and Mike Golick here from Westwood One with a preview of Sunday Night Football and the oldest rivalry in the league, the Bears and the Packers. Mike, Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay looking pretty good right now. They're 9-3, but they can't overlook the division rival, right?
Ryan, you are absolutely correct. You never know what's going to happen in a rivalry game, but there's so much more riding on this for the Green Bay Packers than just the rivalry and the division. They are trying to get that number 1 seed throughout the playoffs. And let me tell you, having a number 1 seed and having to come through Lambeau Field to make it all the way to the Super Bowl would be one difficult stretch. So I think rivalry aside, Green Bay is a big-time favorite.
Join us for the Chicago Bears at the Green Bay Packers from Lambeau Field coming up on Sunday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long, right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 6688 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 6688. Enjoy.
Hey guys, it's Grunny here for my friends at CBD American Shaman. Man, I love football and I love big scores. When Kansas City scores, you score big at your local CBD American Shaman stores the day after the game. If Kansas City puts up 30, it's 30% off all the next day at your local CBD American Shaman store. If they put up 50, you got it, 50% off all the very next day. Now that's a big win. CBD American Shaman. Life is so much better with the feather.
Ryan Radke here from Westwood One with a preview of Sunday Night Football and the oldest of all league rivalries, the Bears and the Packers. At 9-3, Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay are in the hunt for the top seed in the NFC. Can the Bears play spoiler, pull off the upset, and hand the Packers their first home loss of the year? Join Mike Golick and me to find out. Bears and the Packers on Sunday Night Football.
Kansas City's home for the National Football League. Sports Radio 810, WHB.
Let me tell you about my other favorite Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from KC, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Grab a Pick 6 from one of 9 area locations and tailgate at Andy's. Grab one today.
So this is a 3rd and 3 after the penalty. Kansas City driving. The long pass to McCole Hardman. Mahomes. Perfectly executed. Williams down the sideline, leaping. Touchdown, Kansas City. 23 yards.
That play was beautiful, and it is our Andy Reid call of the game. brought to you by Olathe Subaru. At Subaru of Olathe, let your love give back during the Subaru Share the Love event. Find your new Subaru now at at SubaruofOlathe.com. I'm going to read that again so you get the URL right, and also you hear it twice. That is SubaruofOlathe.com. It was a very weird but very good, ultimately, day for the Chiefs' backfield. Derek Gore had 9 carries. Clyde Edwards-Helaire had 10. Darrell Williams only had 2 carries, but had 3 receptions, including that one. Gore had a couple of catches. Clyde had 3, but just for 5 yards. One of them was a big loss. It was not a 3-for-5 type day, but big loss in there. Just had him back, obviously. But I think to say absolutely nothing of how this backfield was put together, the pedigree of these guys, how they were acquired, to say nothing of any of that, I think the Chiefs' backfield that you saw today is probably what it should look like the rest of the season. It is a committee. That is how almost every backfield in the NFL is built at this point. From a team-building perspective, you should keep that in mind whenever you are evaluating talents and acquisition costs for running backs. We're not going to talk about that a whole bunch today, though I promise I'm not going to sermonize on running back value because the Chiefs right now, even with Jerick McKinnon recently going to IR, the Chiefs still have 3 running backs who I think can take advantage of some of the things that this offense plays to. None of these guys have enormous, super top-end speed. None of them are Jamal Charles, and none of them are the world's biggest bruiser backs, but they all work in this offense doing some things slightly differently. Derek Gore with the exclamation point long touchdown run in this game. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, sort of the, clearly the number 1, I think, still in the Chiefs' mind. But then Darrell Williams being the guy that they clearly trust the most on third downs, both as a pass protector and I think as a pass catcher. Again, as you heard there, I believe that was on a third down there, they said, right? I didn't hear at the beginning of the call, but I do think that was the play. Yeah, it was 3rd and 3. And then Darrell Williams out of the backfield, full head of steam. Touchdown to make it 14-0 there early in the game. Just a great performance from that unit altogether as a whole. We've got a couple of phone lines open. If you want to get in and get out real quick, you can do so at 913-381-0810, or you can leave comments or questions on our video feeds, which you can see on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube channels. We're calling Mike Hughes punchy now. I think that's pretty good. James says on the YouTube, I certainly owe Chiefs Kingdom a hearty apology. Several weeks ago, I was very critical of this team. They've totally turned it around, so I'm sorry. Here's the thing, James, to that point, and anybody who feels that way, I was certainly critical of
they were bad.
Things. That's the point, though. That's it for me. Hey, you don't have to apologize. You know who else was critical during that terrible stretch? The Chiefs. I promise you, those meetings, those film sessions were a lot less fun a few weeks ago because the players and the coaches knew. We weren't telling them anything they didn't already know. We are the last ones to know how their process and their results are going. They all know in the building first. That's one reason that I think it's really important to be fair about what you're critical of. I think you want to try to do that, not disingenuously, but they're self-critical. No one's going to be more critical of this team than the players and coaches who can actually change things about it. So you shouldn't apologize for being critical of this team. You should, though, take some solace and some joy in the fact that they deserved that criticism several weeks ago and that they're at the point they are right now. Real quick, also around the league, if you just watch football today, you would assume that we were going to see a Super Bowl rematch this year because the Tampa Brady Buccaneers, with Tom Brady throwing absolute darts at age 97 right now. The Bucs look great. The Bills look not very good. It's 17-3, 5 minutes left in the first half. Far, far, far from over. But if the Buccaneers do win this game, the Bucs would end the week 1 game over 500. The Buccaneers would move to 10-3, which would be kind of wild, but it's good for the Chiefs if the Bills fall to 7-6. There's no real question about that tiebreaker ever coming into play. It will be hard, though, for the Chiefs to end up getting a leg up on the Patriots unless they stub their toe somewhere along the lines. So we'll see. We'll see where that ends up. JT on the Twitch, glad there are no injuries. Hate to see that in a scrimmage against the JV. That's pretty good. I still can't scroll on the comment things over here. So Beards, I'll delegate to you if you've got any comments from the YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook that I haven't gotten to. You can sprinkle them in. It's also a great place to ask questions if you've got a quick hitter but you don't want to call in or whatever. We can try to keep everybody up to date on everything, but I just can't scroll up apparently.
I've got one from YouTube. It's not necessarily a question, it's more just like a general statement.
Sure, let's hear it. Sure.
Go off it if you want. This is from Jeremy, but it is not spelled like normal Jeremy. Doubt any KC fan would be mad about the 50-yard dance by the Raiders, but only because we whooped that bleep.
You can say ass on the radio, I think.
Had the Raiders won more, or even if it was a closer game, I would be more pissed about it myself.
100%. 100%. I mentioned that something along those lines a little earlier in the show. That's exactly how I think you should feel. With the result about this, it's hilarious. With this result, you should not let the Raiders disrespecting your football team ruin the rest of your brilliant, beautiful weather, beautiful football Sunday, because the Chiefs did the exact thing that you wanted them to do in that spot, which was respond to that with an absolute... There was more destruction at Arrowhead Stadium today from the Chiefs to the Raiders than in The Dark Knight Rises, whenever Bane brought that entire stadium literally to the ground. This was more violent than that, if you are a member of the Las Vegas Raiders. And that should leave you feeling good, not feeling bad. But I do agree. If the Raiders start that way and then win the game, or even last year, think about the bus thing became a thing because they did that after winning. And so then it's insult to injury or whatever, right? And again, I might be a little bit biased just by kind of some of the things I enjoy seeing from sports every once in a while. And I might be weird on this one as well, because it doesn't bother me one bit whenever, players on opposing teams are friends because they're human beings. Maybe they played together, they've been around each other, whatever. I think it's silly to say, like, you guys are in the same division, so you can no longer be friends. But I was glad that KU and Mizzou played yesterday. I hope they keep playing each other for a very long time. Forever, actually. I hope the Chiefs and Raiders play, and the Chiefs and Broncos and the Chiefs and Chargers play twice a year for the rest of natural time. And I hope that the Raiders and Chiefs stay a little salty and a little disrespectful towards each other as franchises, because even if you're younger, you grew up on the history of Chiefs Raiders being passed down to you. And then in real time, you've watched it happen. You want to find a weird silver lining of these last couple of years, a little silver and black lining, if you will, of these last couple of years of Chiefs and Raiders? You may not have known it at the time. You may have known it at the time as well. You have watched these last 2 years. You have watched Chiefs Raiders history being made in real time. That's pretty cool. The loss and then the bus victory lap around the stadium, that's no fun if you're a Chiefs fan having to live with it that day. But it does mean that you have experienced the pain on the wrong side of the rivalry for a second. Today, you saw the Raiders do their little pregame dance meeting thing at the half on the Arrowhead at midfield. And then you saw, I believe, the biggest blowout in the history of this rivalry. I think it was the biggest margin of victory. I don't quote me on that one. Find somebody else to quote, because I think I saw that pass through my Twitter earlier. But that's a pretty cool thing to know that you're going to pass along to maybe the next generation of Chiefs fans. Just hey, pretty early on, back when Mahomes was still a young gun, you're telling the story to somebody in 10 years, whenever he's aging like Tom Brady or whatever. Back in Mahomes' earlier years, the Raiders came to Arrowhead, they won, and they took a victory lap around the stadium in a bus. And then the next year, we beat them 89-23 over the two matchups in 2021. I hope that everybody listening finds the fun in that. Because I think that not enjoying that, especially when your team is the one that's winning, not taking the time to enjoy that, I think would be missing out on one of the most ridiculous, fun things about sports. And it's something that only rivalries like this one that have a history and also still have a flame in them today, only rivalries like that can fully bring that feeling back annually, twice a year, every couple of years, depending on the rivalry. And Chiefs Raiders is a truly great one. Here's a Iced Pyro. I apologize if you're sending bits right now because I don't have our actual Twitch thing open. But Iced Pyro says, I'm blowing all of my bits, which is a Twitch thing, everybody, for attention, saying, we love you, Josh. Thank you, Iced Pyro. And thank you if you have thrown all of your bits in our general direction. Really irresponsible spending, but appreciated very much regardless. Whatever it is that you've done. Bits, channel points. Either way, I'm not sure, but I'm glad that we're able to be here to take advantage of your perhaps questionable digital spending habits. One thing here from Ryan, and then we'll take a quick timeout, and then I think we should be ready for Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes shortly thereafter. But Ryan says, question: what happens when we beat the Chargers? It's a good question. Also, thank you to either RA Dog or Rad Dog or just Radog on Twitch for the shirt. The shirt compliments. I appreciate that. If you want to see whatever I bring wardrobe-wise to Chiefs postgame shows, and it varies. Some days it's the 810 t-shirt and hoodie. Some days I find a shirt that I totally forgot that I had that I decide you got to bring out for a little Chiefs Raiders postgame show. Got to bring the heat occasionally. But Ryan asks on the YouTube, what happens when we beat the Chargers? This is the funny thing. So we're back here to the rest of the AFC West. The Lions have gotten a little bit closer, 14-10, about 6 minutes left in the first half. The Broncos still lead that game. The Chargers are up 17-7. Let's assume that both the Broncos and Chargers both win today. Obviously, the Chiefs already won. The Raiders already lost. I don't know if you all caught that one. It shouldn't matter too much other than putting the AFC West on ice in terms of that whole race. If the Chargers are 8-5 and the Broncos are 7-6, but the Chiefs then beat the Chargers, the Chiefs go to 10-4, the Chargers at that point would go to 8-6. Very difficult to see the Chiefs not winning the AFC West, which is hilarious given the fact that they were below 500 near the halfway point of the season. Just what a time to be alive. Actually, no, they were 4-5. So it was exactly at the halfway point of the season with the new 17-game schedule. So that's pretty funny. With the rest of the AFC, though, again, I'm sorry, also I gave you bad timing. I forgot to refresh the page. Broncos and Lions and Chargers and Giants are both at halftime. My apologies. 17-10 Broncos over Lions, and Chargers over Giants is 24-7. So the Chargers are putting some distance in there. With that being said, I also have screwed up twice today. They were 3-4, so it was just before the halfway point of the season. It would have been hard for them to be 4-5, considering that they're now 9-4. That's a rough segment for me reading numbers and saying them correctly. Mea culpa. Do a little pat on my chest, hand up. That one's on me, Coach. My bad. But in the AFC, with the Bills looking like they're about to take another loss here at the hands of Tom Brady, something they're pretty familiar with at this point, and with the Patriots staying steady, the Patriots, Titans, and Chiefs right now are all 9-4. Presuming that the Chiefs are able to hold that victory over the Chargers and that they win 2 in a row here. I mean, it would be 7 in a row, right? I've been bad with numbers this segment. But if everything holds, the Ravens losing today, that's a big development. Then you're just talking about the Titans and the Patriots as the head-to-heads for the Chiefs. The issue is that the Chiefs are currently losing the tiebreaker to both of those teams and will ultimately lose the tiebreaker to both of those teams. The Patriots have a significantly better record in the AFC, in the conference, so that will be the tiebreaker there since they don't play head-to-head. Now, the Titans are going to play the Steelers, 49ers, Dolphins, and Texans. Those are not good football teams other than the Niners, I think, are a solid football team. Hopefully for the Chiefs, the Titans just need to stub their toe on one of those if the Chiefs were to win out. And then at that point, they would need some help from whoever's playing the Patriots. They would need to finish a full game better than New England. They play the Colts, then the Bills, then the Jags, and the Dolphins. Colts next week is probably as good as a chance you're going to get. I guess they get the Bills again. That's crazy. We talked about how weird it was for the Chiefs and Raiders to play back-to-back games as quickly as they did. The Patriots are still thawing out from their game against Buffalo, and they play them again the day after Christmas. So those two games coming up on the 18th and 26th of this month. If the Patriots lose either of those games, the Chiefs are back to having a win-out path to the number 1 seed in the AFC. But even if they beat the Chargers, let's say the Chiefs win out, and if the Patriots win out as well, we're talking about the 2 seed for the Chiefs now. 2 seed means no first-round bye, which is obviously very unfortunate, but they would play the last team in. We're too far out for me to give you a projection on that, because that could be anybody at this point, really. It could be the Bills again, actually, which would not be my favorite thing in the world, because they're not going to win the division. And if they're the 7 seed, that would be a little spooky, having them return to Arrowhead for that matchup. But anyway, if you're the 2 seed, you play the 7 seed in the first round. And, of course, you're just playing home games until you get to the AFC Championship game if the 1 seed, in this case the Patriots, make it that far. If the Patriots lose, though, in their game between the bye and the AFC Championship game, if they lose their 1 divisional round game, the Chiefs could be hosting the AFC Championship game once again. That's sort of the most important parts of the playoff picture. Obviously, if the Chiefs lose to the Chargers or Broncos or Chargers or Broncos or Steelers or Bengals, any of those losses would obviously change things. But if they win out, just root against the Patriots, which I think we've all gotten pretty good at doing over the years. And the Chiefs have a pretty good chance of being the 1 or the 2 seed in the AFC, which is absolutely incredible given where they were after the first, 7 weeks of football. Incredible. My name is Joshua Brisco, by the way. If you want to get a hold of me personally, you can do that on Twitter, at JB Brisco on Twitter, at JBBRISCO. No E at the end of my name, just so you know. It's important to me. And then also you can get in touch just during the show on the live feeds on the Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube channels. Facebook.com/SportsRadio810, Twitch.tv/SportsRadio810, and YouTube.com/810WHB. We'll take a break here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show, but first I'll tell you it's presented by the Missouri Lottery. Remember to play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. More play, more power. Powerball now on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. Also, this is some big news here. There's a big discount. It's a big discount that you ought to take advantage of from our friends at CBD American Shaman. When Kansas City scores, you score big at your local CBD American Shaman. Today, that's 48 points for the Kansas City Chiefs. So you get 48% off all day tomorrow at CBD American Shaman. I have still not gotten a phone call. I have not gotten the text. It says, whoa, you trying to plan us out of house and home? So their doors will be open tomorrow, and you'll be invited for 48% off all day tomorrow at CBD American Shaman, because the Chiefs finally gave you an offensive performance that gives you a discount that's got to make the good folks, they got to make the feathers shaking off the backs of the good folks at CBD American Shaman. You know, the feathers, because at CBD American Shaman, life is better with the feather. But you already knew that. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, Matt Derrick, Rich Bisaccia. We'll bring you one of those things whenever we come back, and all of those things throughout the remainder of the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show sometime after this.
You're listening to exclusive postgame coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Remember to play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. More play, more power Powerball. Now on Monday, Wednesday, and Saturdays. Clogged drain? Leaky faucet or toilet? Dealing with a plumbing emergency? Homeowners who care call Kate's. And if you call today, the service call is free. Call Kate's at 913-888-4470 or visit katesheatingandcooling.com to schedule your plumbing appointment today. And the service call is free. 913-888-4470. Kate's Heating, Cooling, and now Plumbing. Service makes the difference.
Hey, Kansas City. Stephen St. John here for Window Nation. Cold weather has arrived, and that means one thing, higher energy bills. But the good news is that Window Nation is here to help. For a limited time, get 50% off all style windows and get a house of windows for only $99 a month. Rising natural gas prices are affecting everyone, but new Window Nation windows can help. 50% off any style window and a house of windows for only $99 a month. That's basically a cup of coffee per day. Call Window Nation today, 866-90-NATION, or go online, windownation.com. This incredible deal is only good through the end of December. Window Nation's first-class expert installers will improve and enhance your home with your choice of their custom-made, high-quality windows using superior products. An investment that pays off for you and your family with lower energy bills. Get 50% off any style window and only $99 a month for a house of windows. 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
Hear exclusive Chiefs coverage every week from the best in the business. Only on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Trent Green, Adam Schefter, Tim Grunhard, Adam Teicher, Matt Derrick, Adam Kaplan, Chef Shadia, Nick Leckie, Gary Barnett, Sam Mellinger, Bill Moss, Mark Bowrichter, Stan Weber, Sam McDowell, Seth Kaiser, Blair Kirchhoff, Kevin Harlan, Field Yates, Jesse Newell, Cynthia Freeland, and Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Come see what's new at Robert Brogdon Buick GMC in Olathe. Get 0% financing on all new Buick models in stock, like the 2021 Buick Enclave and the 2022 Buick Encore GX. Or drive away in a new GMC that's just arrived, including Yukons and Sierra HDs. At Brogdon, they pay top dollar for trade-ins. Come see what your vehicle is worth. Visit robertbrogdon.com or come see them in person on I-35 in Santa Fe and Olathe. Must qualify and finance through GMF for special APR. Let me tell you about my other favorite Andy, Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from KC, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Grab a Pick 6 from one of 9 area locations and tailgate at Andy's. Grab one today.
Did you wait until the last minute to do your holiday shopping? Don't worry about it. We've got your back. At Shane Company, we do everything we can to make it easy for you. We have a wide range of unique styles in every price range. Easy last-minute gifts, like classic diamond stud earrings, stunning 3-stone rings, 14-karat gold bracelets, beautiful jewelry with colorful gemstones, as well as cultured pearls, all made with superior craftsmanship and guaranteed for life. Whatever your budget, we'll work with you to find gifts that they'll love, tied with a burgundy bow and ready to slip under the tree. Visit us in the store or shop online to get them in time for Christmas. Order last-minute gifts by December 22nd with overnight shipping. We can't wait to help you light up the holidays. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
Hi, this is Jamie Bluma for Home Field Sports Complex. Kansas City's premier training facility is hosting a job fair on November 16th. Home Field provides professional training and state-of-the-art facilities and represents an awesome environment to honor all youth sports. Home Field has all turf fields, a soccer youth training facility, basketball, baseball, softball, volleyball, and lacrosse field. If you're a vendor needing employees, we have a table for you. Contact John Penn at jpenn@homefieldkc.com to register your company.
Every weekday on Sports Radio 810, tune in to hear Kansas City's favorite local lineup. At 6 a.m., wake up with the Border Patrol with Stephen St. John and Nate Bucati. At 10, it's The Zone with Jason Anderson. Now at 2, get into the program with Soren Petro. And wrap up your day on Almost Entirely Sports with Joshua Brisco. Kansas City's hometown sports station. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Get fast and reliable internet from Xfinity for $19.99 a month for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And ask how to get 6 times the internet speed for the same internet price when you add Xfinity Mobile. Or learn how to get $200 back when you get gig speed internet during the Xfinity Black Friday sales event. Go to Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay. Ends 12/6/21. Restrictions apply. New Connect 50 megabits per second customers only. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. After term, regular rates apply. Reduced speeds up to 20 gigabytes of mobile usage.
They had no offensive rhythm to start the game last week against Washington. Here's Jacobs trying to loop to the outside. Slam down. Kansas City's got the ball. Touchdown. The recovery by Mike Hughes.
The fumble with recovery by Kansas City for a touchdown.
You can't start the game better than that defensively.
You can't start one better than that, and you almost can't finish a game better than the Kansas City Chiefs did. But the first snap out of the gate, set the tone for the entire game today. And that is our play of the game, brought to you by Central Bank of the Midwest. I promised you this stat earlier as well. This is from @PFF_George on Twitter. Mahomes' season-long pace, if he played the Raiders every game, 6,500 yards, 79 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Mahomes has been pretty good against the Raiders. The Chiefs' defense has been pretty good against the Raiders. The Chiefs have simply been very good against the Raiders. We'll hear Andy Reid's thoughts about the game right after this.
Andy Reid is presented by Robert Brogdon Buick GMC and Robert Brogdon Olathe Kia. Visit BrogdonAutomotive.com. And by Andy's Frozen Custard. Let me tell you about my other favorite Andy. Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from KC, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Grab a Pick 6 from one of 9 area locations and tailgate at Andy's. Grab one today.
We'll start off with the opening thoughts from Andy Reid. I already told you earlier, no serious injury issues from this game, and I'm sure we'll hear some more thoughts from Andy Reid about Legerius Sneed, his family. Again, if you don't know, his brother, who he credited in his story with Sam McDowell, the Kansas City Star, from about a month ago. I would recommended reading at the time, even more so now. Credited his older brother for raising him for a good portion of his childhood. He was killed in Louisiana on, I believe, late Friday night. Found out about it publicly on Saturday. And so everyone who has talked so far for the Chiefs obviously took some time to share their thoughts, concerns, well wishes, condolences, and all of that for the Sneed family. Obviously, Legerius Sneed not with the team today as he flew down to Louisiana to be with his family throughout all of this. So I'm sure that's also a topic here. Let's go ahead and hear all the opening thoughts from Chiefs head coach Andy Reid.
All right. Listen, congratulations to the fans, first of all, for doing what they do and doing it so well, man. They're loud, and it makes a difference. You know, it makes a difference when teams can't hear themselves think out there. And anyways, that was tremendous. Legerius Sneed, just want to address that well up front here. Our hearts go out to him. Great kid, great player. But just his family, they were all visiting at this time, so it's a tough deal. But our organization stepped up and got everybody back to where they needed to be to go through the grieving process, and that locker room's grieving with them. So, with that, 5 turnovers, 28 points off of those turnovers. 21, who's going to come talk to you here in a minute. Had an unbelievable day. Fumble recovery for a TD, 2 forced fumbles. And then the Badger jumps in, and he's got a pick and a fumble recovery, and so on and so forth. So, and then, anytime you can put together 4 or 5 turnovers in a game, I mean, you're probably going to come out on the right end of the stick there. So, and then offensively, I thought the offense did a nice job of moving the ball, taking time off that second half, which was important, being able to run the ball and be able to still throw it efficiently. Pat had a nice day, along with the offensive line. Receivers caught the ball and did well there. So the defensive line, I thought the pressure that they applied up front was just top notch. Derrick could never quite get comfortable back there throwing the ball, and then that makes everybody's job just a little bit easier. Hitch did a great job of helping lead that defense. It's very easy to take a step down from having played that team just 4 weeks ago, 3 games ago. But the guys didn't. They knew the urgency that was needed, and they did a great job with that. The coordinators, I thought, were tremendous. The assistant coaches were good. You saw that the guys that were out of practice saw the energy that we had at practice, and the guys practiced fast. with all that said, we've got a short week here and have to get ready for the Chargers. It should be a great atmosphere for a game, but we've got some work to do before we get there. The one positive is we came out of this without injuries, so we unless something pops up, but we should be good there.
There you go. A pretty good update, pretty good opening statement there from Andy Reid. Again, strictly the on-the-field stuff to come out healthy. You're pretty much ready for that quick turnaround. You never want to be on that, I'm sure. But all things considered, it's not like they have a bunch of nagging injuries from this group today that may or may not clear up by the time they get to Thursday. Like you said, I mean, you can go through the turnovers, you can go through the overall defensive performance, the execution, no drops, not a big bunch of turnover problems on the offensive side. I mean, it's just about as good as you can have things come together. And yes, there will always be things to nitpick at. You heard Reid talk about it some in there, and I believe he talks about it more later on as well. I never feel bad about nitpicking on the small negatives off of a largely positive performance because I know for an absolute fact that that's what the coaching staff is doing. You don't want to take a perfect performance and then soak up all of the greatness from that unless it's literally the Super Bowl, right? If you win the AFC Championship game 48-9, you want to figure out why you gave up those 9 points and why you didn't score 50, right? Because you got to get that ready for the Super Bowl. Also, though, this was a wonderful game today for this football team and a wonderful sign of where they go from here. Also great to see Josh Gordon get his first touchdown catch as a member of the Kansas City Chiefs. Here's Andy Reid on Gordon and also the Raiders meeting on the logo out there at midfield on the Arrowhead at Arrowhead before the game.
Yeah, I should have mentioned Josh. Josh has been doing a great job. For him to get that and another catch on it was great. We don't pay much attention to the other stuff. We know what they do, and we try to play good, and that's what we try to do. So, and play the best of our abilities, and that's about all the time you have to, for that kind of stuff. So you got enough time to focus in on yourself and try to get better every week, and that's what we're trying to do.
The play call, was that a play call for him, or was that just when he was in a huddle?
No, that was a play call. Yeah, that was a play call for him.
You could tell at the time, that was good to hear, the locking it in there from Andy Reid. But you could tell, that was a play designed for exactly that, and presumably a play designed to get a receiver a touchdown in that spot. That was going to be Josh Gordon. Now, I actually think size-wise and everything, it made sense for that to be a play for Josh Gordon. I'm not saying they forced it in a bad way. They forced it to Josh Gordon in a way that I think we've kind of been waiting for them to do in the red zone for many weeks now. You have him over there with, I think it was Travis Kelce on the more right-off tackle, and then Blake Bell in the slot, and then Gordon another couple of feet to Bell's right. It was definitely Gordon and Bell on the far right side there. But then it sort of becomes a little bit of a quick screen, a disjointed screen. There may be a specific term for a little play like that where he cuts back in, gets a couple of lead blocks, and has himself an easy touchdown there. It's just great to see Josh Gordon get a score with the Chiefs, and if it turns into more, great. If it doesn't, so be it. But nice to see Josh Gordon getting involved there. The offense, though, today, altogether, just looked fantastic. Here's what Andy Reid had to say when asked about what he attributed that offensive success to today.
Yeah, things worked. I think everybody was clicking. They were disappointed after the last game that we weren't as sharp as we needed to be, and there's just that small margin, man. You catch the balls last week, and you might have the same type of thing happening here. So, but we didn't, and so the guys did a nice job with all that.
Andy, this is we have 8 receivers, multiple guys in the back up. We get right back. We'll touch the ball today. In terms of balance, how close you guys are, how much can that be a key ingredient moving forward as each game gets bigger and bigger?
Yeah, you need that. You need everybody to be a threat somewhere. The defense has to cover everybody. You can't give up on this guy because Pat's going to shoot him from another position. So that ends up being important. Absolutely. More pressure you can keep on these defenses, the better off you're going to be with your players.
they were in sync today and also looking like a fully complete unit on all angles, on all sides of the ball. Let's go here now to Andy Reid talking about if this team is as complete to this point as he thought they'd be heading into the year.
Yeah, listen, I'm proud of the way the guys are playing. The neat part, Vahe, is we have a chance to even be better. And we got to keep the foot on the pedal here as we go. And we still have some things we can fix, both sides of the ball and special teams. I should have said special teams did a great job today too. So Dave had a nice plan there.
You hear there Andy Reid talk a little bit about how, again, it's not a fully formed unit where everything is totally perfection at this point. That's the nitpicking on the little things, even after you just beat a team 89-23 over the course of your 2 games against them. But that's you don't become Andy Reid without staying focused on a lot of the details. Today they got a lot of the big stuff right, and a lot of the little things that they want to pick at they can do for over the next few weeks, and hopefully have it be as close to perfect as you can get in January and perhaps February. But today was pretty close to perfect. Next here, Andy Reid was asked by our own Stephen St. John of this very station, Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City. And Stephen asked about what Melvin Ingram has brought both on and off the field. And Andy Reid joked to SSJ about becoming Santa Claus with his beard, apparently.
Yeah, so you need to get a white one of those, but be Santa Claus, man. I mean, I got one if you need one. I've got one. Yeah, so... Listen, Melvin has brought a great attitude to the room, which is tricky because you come in and if you're a downer, that can pull everybody else down, being a seasoned veteran, Pro Bowl player like he is. But he came in with a positive attitude, a great work ethic. He's very intelligent. He knows the game and has studied the game. So that was welcomed into that room with the talent we have in there. We've got good talent. So he's done very good for us.
I mean, yeah, he's been great to add to that group. He plays angry, as Steve Spagnuolo said on Thursday, and it also provides another spark up there. And you don't always need every single guy in that rotation to be a full-blown flamethrower. Chris Jones is a flamethrower all the time, right? Frank Clark, after getting healthy this year, has had his best stretch. He's brought some electricity. You get a couple little sparks here and there, a couple of shocks here and there from Melvin Ingram. That just adds another dynamic element to that defense where you have guys winning at various different times, and it just constantly keeps the quarterback uncomfortable. And you saw that happen to Derek Carr today over and over and over again. We mentioned all the turnovers. 5 turnovers forced by the Chiefs defense, 4 fumbles, and I'm telling you, that not fluky ones, man. Like especially the 3 that were punched out were attacks on the football, which is incredible. But 5 total turnovers in this game for the Chiefs defense, and Andy Reid was asked about the team improving on their turnover differential.
No, listen, you got to concentrate every week here. So we just got to make sure we keep our focus and be smart with the ball, whether we're running the ball or throwing the ball or catching the ball. Just really, you keep your focus on the job at hand, and it doesn't matter if you're up or down. You got to keep going, and consistency against zone defenses becomes important. You might not have all the long shots, but you got to be able to put a drive together, and that's a tough thing to do in this league consistently. And so we're working towards that.
One time you don't really have to put a long drive together is whenever the defense does the scoring itself. Here's Andy Reid on Mike Hughes scoring a defensive touchdown on the first snap from scrimmage.
Unbelievable way to start a game. I mean, that doesn't happen every week, but he went right after it, and you can see, it wasn't a fluke. He ripped it out. So, or punched it out. That was kind of a good deal.
Mike Hughes being able to get that fumble recovery touchdown, what does that do for a team in terms of being able to set the tone for the rest of the game and just kind of create energy that carries over?
Yeah, well, the guys like him. He's a new addition to our team, and the guys, they know he's a good football player, and he's also a good returner, so he's done well on special teams. But you've seen him progress, and you kind of favor those guys that work through the tough spots and get themselves playing well within the defense. So he's a popular guy. He's going to talk to you here in a minute.
We've obviously already heard Mike Hughes here because we heard him earlier live here on 810. This one's going to need a little extra context here. Rudy has briefed me on what happens around this. Apparently, Andy Reid was counting strikes today from all of my wonderful peers and colleagues in the media, apparently jumping in with their questions before Andy Reid was fully done with his previous answer. You get a good mood Andy Reid after a blowout victory, and what sounds like a pretty bustling Chiefs media room. We'll see how that ended up getting in the way as Andy Reid was asked about Mecole Hardman being back on punt returns today.
Yeah, Mecole did a nice job all the way around. He's got a great attitude about him. He's willing to get better, and that's what he's doing. Go ahead. You're on your third strike. Go ahead.
There you go. Nice to see Hardman getting into the mix a little bit. A couple of plays where he was actually targeted. I think one of them got undone by a penalty off the top of my head, but getting into the flow of the offense a little bit more. I think his best play came as Tyreek Hill was either still out or maybe just stepped on the field. I think he was back the next play after this, whenever Hill had like the bloody lip. So Mecole Hardman had 9 snaps last week. He is too talented to spend that much time on the sideline. Figuring out where he gets used is going to continue to be an evolution for this team. I love his skill set. I wish that his growth would have been more explosive as a wide receiver to this point, but I do still think that he has value on this team. I think that some people can maybe overcorrect a little bit in terms of, you can point to a player's shortcomings or whatever without making them a total scrub, and I think that being a second-round pick has never really worked in Hardman's favor in terms of perception. It makes it easier to be critical and easier to put him under the microscope. And I mean, he's underperformed on some level, or at least his evolution has run a little more slowly. But anything that you can find with the guy with the speed of Mecole Hardman to get him involved, you'll take all of it. And he was back there on punts today, I think in large part because Mike Hughes was going to be getting a lot more work defensively with Rashad Fenton banged up coming into this game. Obviously, Legerius Sneed being out. I'll be interested to see the snap counts of how the corners all ended up together. But obviously Hughes, who can do some kick return duties, had a huge day defensively, as we've already broke down. Here, Andy Reid was asked about why the Chiefs' offense has been able to have so much success against the Raiders in recent memory, specifically these last 2 games, but also scoring at least 28 points in their previous 8 games against the Raiders.
Yeah, listen, I mean, they're going through a tough time right now, and Rich is doing the best Rich can do on keeping everything together. And so, my hat goes off to him, Gus, and Greg. I mean, they're all busting their tail to do the right things and try to get it right. So, but it's a tough situation. I mean, it's unique and tough for this league to have that type of thing happen. So, and we'll just see where it goes from there. But I'm proud of our guys for taking care of business. You let off just a little bit. I mean, Dallas kind of went through this, right? So whatever happened there happened, but they came in and got after them. And so our guys are aware of that. We're aware of that, and that's what I'm proud of them for doing that, because very easily you could have looked forward and not taken care of business today, and they didn't do that.
That's a very Andy Reid answer to that question. But what if he would have just done the Aaron Rodgers thing in the corner against the Bears and just went, Coach, why are you guys so successful? You scored at least 28 points in your previous 8 games against the Raiders. What makes you so successful against this football team? Andy Reid just goes, I own them! Like wrestling belt thing like Aaron Rodgers did. That would have been jarring and funny and very unlikely. But also, I own them might be closer to the truth there. What another part here of Andy Reid on the Chiefs defense here, he talked about how much emotion he sensed from the defense today and how close that unit is right now.
Yeah, I mean, you saw them over there dancing away, and they just they like each other. That's kind of the common denominator of that group all along here. Even when it was kind of a rough patch there, the guys like each other, and really both sides of the ball. Everybody gets along. So that can be unique in this league. Tribute to Brett for bringing in the right guys and doing that, kind of putting the puzzle together that way.
It's interesting. I've probably mentioned this 1,000 times now, but you heard it from Josh Gordon earlier, and I had a chance to talk to Jamal Charles for a while a couple of weeks ago, and something that comes up, that came up from Gordon and that came up when I talked to Jamal Charles, and it comes up all the time whenever guys talk about playing for Andy Reid, is that he like explicitly tells players to be themselves. And so I think that, things aren't going great for Urban Meyer in Jacksonville right now. I think even if they were winning, if the Jaguars were dancing on the sidelines during a victory, I feel like Urban Meyer would come out in that post-game press conference and, we gotta keep that to ourselves. All right? Do that dance in the locker room. But out here, everyone can see it. We're professionals. So don't be disrespectful. Blah, 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 blah. Something like that, Oh, I want football playing robots so I can coach. And Andy Reid is not that guy. In fact, he is explicitly the opposite of that guy. Josh Gordon said today that's not something that every coach will bring out of you. Jamal Charles told me that no one has ever brought that out of him that way. No, he had never heard that until he heard it from Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy, were the names he mentioned explicitly, of guys that said, hey, no, be yourself. Let your personality be a part of this. And I just think that's such an interesting part of what makes Andy Reid, and even the guys that leave the Andy Reid staffs to go be a part of the Andy Reid head coaching tree elsewhere, seem to take with them. Lots of other things impact if it works or not, right? I think Matt Nagy probably does a good job about the personality thing, but it doesn't do a great job with making, the Bears an actually competent offense most of the time, right? I just think that's an interesting, core tenet of who Andy Reid is, and that shows up on the sidelines of the defense with Josh Gordon coming to town, with guys like Jamal Charles remembering that era of his career very fondly, and in large part because of that. I just think it's something we don't hear about often enough for the impact I tend to think that it probably has. Let's hear from Andy Reid on Patrick Mahomes. He was asked about how important this season has been to Patrick Mahomes in terms of his continuing growth.
It'll make him better for down the long road. It's every time you have an opportunity to get out there, you learn something. And this year, with all the zone coverage and not being able to absolutely use the power part of his game, but to use the finesse part, I think will be a benefit to him for a lot of years.
I think that's 100% true. I don't think, and today might have been a different thing than I would have said yesterday. I was talking about this somewhere. I don't know if it was yesterday on Sports Saturday, if it was earlier in the week on AES or something else. I don't know. AES is almost entirely sports, by the way. You can subscribe to the podcast or hear it a lot of weeknights here on Sports Radio 810, but you can search for Almost Entirely Sports wherever you get your podcasts.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, Beards used to remember it, I think. And sad Raiders fans on Reddit is going to be a barn burner, which will be exclusively heard on Almost Entirely Sports.
That'll be good. I don't know where you'll hear it, but that'll be good.
It'll be exclusively on Almost Entirely Sports.
Is that how that works?
I believe so. I'll explain the show to you later, Beards. I think you might like it.
It's on ESPN Kansas City, right?
No, it's not. It's weeknights on Sports Radio 810 WHB. But one thing I said somewhere recently was I don't think that we're anywhere particularly near the final form of Patrick Mahomes, because we've seen him be incredibly precise gunslinger, not a turnover machine by any means, not the thing that a bunch of pundits feared with him coming out of Texas Tech, but we've seen him be a gunslinger with incredible precision. And then for a chunk of this year, we saw him really kind of crank down and play a different style of quarterback, in some cases by necessity. I think ultimately it is going to be a mix of all of those things, and then maybe some new things that we haven't even thought of yet that will all be a part of Patrick Mahomes' toolbox by the time he eventually retires, presumably as an all-time great in this sport. And so I certainly hope for the Chiefs that this is more than just a learning experience of a season. This isn't the year that it looked like it could have been at 3-4. If they were 6-8 right now, we'd be talking about, hey, what can Mahomes learn from all of this? But the season would be a loss. The 1 seed is still going to be very, very, very tough for the Chiefs to end up with. But this is far from a lost season. In fact, they're getting everything together at the right time, and Mahomes is going to have all of this to learn from it. It could end up really working out depending on how the postseason ultimately goes. Last thing here from Andy Reid. He was asked if he was tempted to start pulling players even earlier than he ultimately did tonight with a Thursday night game just a few days away.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's hard, Adam, is getting the guys out because they didn't want to get out. So, which is a good thing and a bad thing. So, but anyways, I got them out when I thought it was right. And we had to, you don't have the numbers that you do during training camp, so you still got to spot guys in and do all of that. So,
Anybody in particular that's hard to get out? I'm guessing Tyrann Mathieu might be one of that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Tyrann. Really, that whole defensive unit. When things are going good, I mean, you want to keep rolling. So that's. But listen, they all got spotted, and everybody got a breather, and we'll need that this week. I mean, we got a good team we're playing.
And once you get out there, I don't know if taking 15 plays off of your plate or 30 plays off of your plate, I don't know how much ultimately that impacts how you feel come Thursday if you've already played 30 or 45 plays or whatever it was by the time you start kind of being in that range. But you know what is great? Getting your superstars off the field when they haven't suffered any sort of major injuries or even nagging injuries that could follow them to Thursday. And by all reports, it sounds like the Chiefs successfully did that today in their beatdown of the Las Vegas Raiders. Eventually, I'm going to say Oakland by accident, but honestly, I think today they beat them so hard that they might have gone back. They could have knocked them back in time back to Oakland, and you could forgive me for misspeaking. I'll get used to Las Vegas eventually, probably. I don't know. It's still kind of weird, though. They're the Oakland Raiders in my soul, but they're the Las Vegas Raiders in my head. You know what I mean? They feel like Oakland, not feel like Vegas. Silver and black is Oakland. If they want to be the Las Vegas Raiders, they need to put some they need to wear neon face masks or something.
Gold for the coins and stuff.
That's not bad. They go from silver and gold or silver and black to gold and black. Yeah. Now they're the Saints. Now we've really gone. Now we've lost the plot. I hope they stay with the silver and black. Honestly, I'm going to admit this here in public. I think it's a great uniform.
Just green for money.
It's both for the city they represent and also the reason they went to that city.
Yeah.
Just green. That's pretty good. That's Beards McFly. I'm Joshua Brisco here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show, and it's brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Remember to play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. More play and more power with Powerball with Double Play. For an extra $1, players have the chance to win up to $10 million in a separate drawing. Missouri Lottery. Play responsibly. Also brought to you by CBD American Shaman. Free CBD samples every day. Also, 48% off all day tomorrow at CBD American Shaman. The Chiefs put up 48 points. We'll take a break. Whenever we come back, we'll hear from the Chiefs quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, next here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You're listening to exclusive post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Brought to you by Casey's own CBD American Shaman. Come on into your local shaman store for a free sample of stress-sacking CBD. Everything is better with the feather.
Let me tell you about my other favorite Andy from Andy's Frozen Custard. He's from KC, never misses a game, and serves the world's finest frozen custard. Grab a Pick 6 from one of 9 area locations and tailgate at Andy's. Grab one today.
Hey, guys, no pressure here, but if you really want to make this the best holiday ever, ask her already. What's more romantic than a holiday proposal? Come to Shane Company to see our amazing selection of unique engagement rings, crafted to last forever. Our warranty is free for a lifetime, and it even covers the center stone. No matter your budget, we'll help you create the perfect ring. We also have rings already set with a center stone, ready to go. And let's talk about center stones. All of our diamonds are conflict-free and natural, handpicked for their beauty. And Tom Shane personally selects our rubies and sapphires in Bangkok. We have so many center stones to choose from, plus we're a direct importer, which means we pass the savings On to you. All right, guys, make it happen.
Book a virtual or an in-store appointment with a non-commissioned jewelry consultant, or just drop by the store. Check our website for hours. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and shaneco.com.
Looking for a job or career change? Let Sports Radio 810 help you out with the 810 Job Connections program. Go to the community page at 810WHB.com and check out the list of partners that are hiring. Is your business wanting to hire? Email Sandy Cohen at scohen@unionbroadcasting.com to see how you can be a part of the 810 Job Connections program. See job opportunities from great companies like Hy-Vee, Bob Hamilton, Plumbing, Heating, AC, Rooter, and Electrical, and Domino's Pizza. Go to 810WHB.com/community.
Hey KC, this is Jack Johnson, the host of The Shift on ESPN Kansas City. Are you a fan of live music, karaoke nights, Saturday and Sunday brunches, and the best place in town to watch our hometown teams? Then there's no better spot to go to than Iron Horse Bar and Grill, located on the corner of Null and 151st Street in Leawood. Every Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., Iron Horse offers $3 wells, domestic bottles, drafts, and cans. Their food is made from scratch, having a great selection of apps such as brisket nachos, beer-battered onion rings, and fried pickles. So if you're looking for great food and a terrific time, come on out to Iron Horse Bar and Grill off 151st and Null in Leawood.
Golfers, it's time to tee it up at Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the biggest Callaway trade-in event of the year. Starting this Thursday through Sunday, bring in any of your old clubs and receive a 75% trade-in bonus towards new Apex irons and Epic woods. Both the Apex and Epic families are designed with artificial intelligence for faster ball speeds. Go to worldwidegolfshops.com or call the store nearest you to schedule your free custom fitting today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee.
More play and more power with Powerball with Double Play. For an extra $1, players have the chance to win up to $10 million in a separate drawing. Plus, players have 3 nights a week to play Powerball. Now Monday nights. Every ticket you play creates opportunities for Missouri students. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. Play responsibly.
Your money management is now manageable. With an account from Central Bank, you'll have all the tools and technology you need to move, manage, and maximize your money the way you want, when you want. And you have the perk of local branches right in your community when you need some one-on-one time. Because we do banking better. Open your account online or in person at any of our convenient locations. Central Bank. Strong roots. Endless possibilities. Member FDIC.
Are you suffering from chronic joint pain like Heather?
I have terrible arthritis and have had it for quite a while, and I've gone to all kinds of doctors trying to figure out what to do, and everybody just said surgery, and surgery was months of rehab, and I didn't want to do that.
But then Heather discovered QC Kinetics, local medical professionals who specialize in natural biologic treatments, non-invasive solutions designed to repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. And she absolutely loves the results.
I like to tell anybody who's suffering that there are options that are not steroids, that are not surgery. You owe it to yourself to find out about QC Kinetics and find out what they can do for you.
No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Discover QC Kinetics and learn more about natural biologic treatments with lasting results.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics today, 816-412-6299.
Hey, Kansas City, Stephen St. John here for Window Nation. Cold weather has arrived, and that means one thing, higher energy bills. But the good news is that Window Nation is here to help. For a limited time, get 50% off all style windows and get a house of windows for only $99 a month. Rising natural gas prices are affecting everyone, but new Window Nation windows can help. 50% off any style window and a house of windows for only $99 a month. That's basically a cup of coffee per day. Call Window Nation today, 866-90-NATION, or go online, windownation.com. This incredible deal is only good through the end of December. Window Nation's first-class expert installers will improve and enhance your home with your choice of their custom-made, high-quality windows using superior products. An investment that pays off for you and your family with lower energy bills. Get 50% off any style window and only $99 a month for a house of windows. 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
Ryan Radke here from Westwood One with a preview of Sunday Night Football and the oldest of all league rivalries, the Bears and the Packers. At 9-3, Aaron Rodgers and Green Bay are in the hunt for the top seed in the NFC. Can the Bears play spoiler, pull off the upset, and hand the Packers their first home loss of the year? Join Mike Golick and me to find out. Bears and the Packers on Sunday Night Football.
Kansas City's home for the National Football League. Sports Radio 810, WHB.
Do you feel valued and appreciated? Tired of where you currently are? Burned out or just burned up by the dealership game and corporate bureaucracy? We believe that you and your family deserve more than just a paycheck. We believe that you should be able to enjoy your job, enjoy your coworkers, and feel like you're making a difference. In short, we feel that you should feel appreciated. Kansas City Transportation Group is looking for a solid, honest, and reliable mechanic and auto tech. We offer flexible schedule, paid time off, and benefits for your family. If you're looking to upgrade your career and feel like what you're doing makes a difference, then apply at kctg.com.
Loss of 11 on the play. 3rd and 17. Can the Raiders defense get off the field here? Mahomes pats the ball. Loops out of trouble. Buys time. Tosses across field. Tyreek Hill. Mahomes on the money.
He was on the money. That play looked like the Patrick Mahomes. And it's our Mahomes magic moment of the game, brought to you by BOK Financial. The Mahomes magic moment is brought to you by BOK Financial. Whatever you want your company to be, there's BOK Financial. Be ready with BOK Financial. Member FDIC. We will also not just play you the highlights of Patrick Mahomes in this segment. We're also going to hear from the man himself. Everything that he saw with his Chiefs offense taking another step here today, what he saw from his defense, and also what he expects to see on the other side of the very short week that the Chiefs will have with Thursday Night Football just days away. But first,
Patrick Mahomes' press conference is brought to you by your Kansas City Acura dealers. They are partnering with Patrick Mahomes in support of his 15 in the Mahomes Foundation. Test drive to make a difference and enter to win a Mahomes jersey. By Xfinity Internet. Stay connected with Wi-Fi coverage that delivers the speed, reliability, and coverage you need. Can your internet do that? And by Westlake Ace Hardware, your home convenience store. Ready with the best brands and the right advice you need to get your quick fixes done even quicker. Stop into your nearest neighborhood Westlake Ace Hardware today.
We'll start off with one of the recipients of a Patrick Mahomes touchdown pass today. The first time this guy caught a touchdown from Patrick Mahomes. Of course, I'm talking about Josh Gordon. And Patrick Mahomes was asked about making an effort to get Gordon his first touchdown today.
Yeah, I mean, when guys put in work like he has over these last few weeks, and obviously he hasn't had the targets and catches that we've wanted him to have just because of the flow of the game and how we've played, for him to get that touchdown, we worked on that play for a couple weeks now, and we were set up in the perfect area, and he hit it, and it worked perfectly. So for him to make a big play for us in the game, it's just going to continue to help him get that confidence that we can go out there and he can utilize him and his talents to help the offense.
I think that there's something very human about that idea of wanting to reward a player who has put in the work. I do think that this is all a very good sign that Josh Gordon has been doing what's been asked of him. I don't think for a second there's an issue of Gordon not wanting to do enough or whatever. I think you can ask your questions about how impactful he's been to this point, how impactful he can be from here on out. But, man, take the touchdown today, and hopefully that ends up turning into even more opportunities like this for Gordon going forward. I'd love to see him finish off this season being able to do some Sammy Watkins things, but I mean, he's had a tough story throughout his time in the NFL. He's been incredibly talented the entire time through it, and for him to at least get this moment under his belt in Kansas City. Now we're not waiting for the first Josh Gordon moment, Maybe that makes things a little bit easier from here on out. Or if nothing else, man, it was a good play, a good touchdown to a guy that apparently has really done everything that they've asked him to do here. That in and of itself is a good thing. Here's Mahomes about the motivation before the game with the Raiders meeting on the logo, and then the PA system playing Wheels on the Bus after the game. A lot of extracurriculars in this question of Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of conversation about it. But you definitely don't want people coming into your stadium and trying to disrespect things that you've kind of built. And so for us, just gave us a little bit more motivation to go out there and win against a really good football team that we have a rivalry against. That usually is a tough football game. So I think guys were ready to play today, and I think it showed on the field.
Did you hear them play Wheels on the Bus after the game?
No, I didn't. I saw the tweet about it, but no, I didn't hear that.
You're aware of the victory lap.
Yeah, I was aware of the victory lap, and definitely we didn't want them winning here again. So I think we went out there and handled business.
I think that's about as serious as it all is. You don't like the disrespect. You want to go ahead and get what you can there from that. All reasonable, but also you got to play the game. The Chiefs were by far the better football team there today as well. On the offense altogether, Mahomes was asked about if this performance today from the offense felt more real compared to the first matchup with the Raiders and their ability to keep that momentum going into the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think we can. We're playing a good football team this next week. That we've already played once this season, so we have familiarity with them. They have a lot of great playmakers over there, but we still have to go out there and do it. I think the defense is playing great football right now. Offensively, we have to prove that we can drive the length of the field week in and week out, and so I'm excited for that opportunity.
Moving on to Thursday, just as quickly as that game will sneak up on the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes here is asked about how the Thursday night game will affect their preparation compared to how it would go over the course of a normal week.
Yeah, you kind of have to just flush this one immediately and move on to next week, where you can really have to start preparing. That'll be a long day tomorrow, a lot of film study, a lot of trying to get the whole entire game plan in. I know the coaches have already kind of got a jump start on that, so being able to talk with them and get a sense. But the only thing is, they kind of have a similar type scheme that we've played before, and that the Broncos play. So you have at least a feel for that, and you've prepared for that in the off season. But we know it's a big game, and they have a really good team, so it'll be a great opportunity for us.
Kind of interesting there for Mahomes to note the similarities across the Chargers and Broncos, and then obviously they've already got games plural under their belt against those two teams this season, and they won't be probably shocked by anything schematically, but still certainly a lot of work to do in preparation for that game without a lot of time to do the preparation for it. I do hope that everybody gets a chance to not immediately flush this game down the drain and gets to enjoy it at least tonight. Hopefully they're not all making the trip straight to the office, although I feel like at least Andy Reid probably has a decent chance of that. I hope everybody, though, is able to soak up the fun of 48-9, because you want to also have fun with what you're doing. I mean, we all understand that, right? Everything can't be gravely serious all the time, which is part of the reason you got to be able to dance on the sidelines every once in a while. I think that's all good. I really enjoy all that. A couple of deep throws from Mecole Hardman. That would have been an upset. That would have been surprising. A couple of deep throws from Patrick Mahomes, one of them to Mecole Hardman, the other to Tyreek Hill that you heard as our Mahomes magic moment of the game. He was asked about those deep shots and if he'd break down those two plays.
It was actually supposed to be like a stop route. He was supposed to run like a triple. It was he was going to fake he's running a hitch, run deep, and then stop. And he obviously faked, and the corner fell down. And I kind of didn't know what he was going to do. And I saw that hand go up, and I was like, I got to just get it out there now. So he made a great play on it. I wish I could have got it further and got him a touchdown, but he made a big catch and kind of got that first drive, that second drive, the first touchdown drive going.
And the second play, the ball where you threw across your body to Tyreek Hill, I mean, it's not a shot that's really been there offensively this year. You still practice it, you still work on it.
Yeah, for sure. And like you said, we haven't had it a ton this year. We've had a lot of spies and guys kind of trying to maneuver away from me having those scramble plays, but it's a big part of our offense. So I was glad we were able to do that today. I thought the offensive line did a great job against some really good pass rushers of allowing me time to make some of those throws that we're accustomed to doing down the field. And I'm glad that I got it to him, and I'm glad he's all good. So it got a little scary there for a second, but he made a big-time catch for us.
Super interesting on the Hardman one there, where it's supposed to be like a little triple move kind of thing, he said. Go out, put a little hitch in it, then look like you're going to take it deep, but you actually stop there. But the corner went down. Mahomes didn't know what Hardman was going to do. Hardman put his hand up and turned up, and there you go. A nice long chunk play there. I love that stuff, man. The times that these guys have talked a little bit about some of the telepathy that it seems like they have. I got to talk to Hardman before the season began for a while. A good sit-down conversation, little one-on-one exclusive. But one of the things I asked him about was the connection that Mahomes and Tyreek Hill seem to have, about it seeming telepathic. And he said, yeah, they can communicate totally telepathically. And that's one of the things that I think has been a challenge for any receiver coming in, any pass catcher coming into this offense, with Hill and Kelsey being the two guys that seem to have mastered it. If Hardman can get to a point where he and Mahomes are on a page like that, I think his playbook opens up, or his trust with those guys opens up, and I certainly would like to see that for those guys. Chiefs were also very good in the red zone today. Mahomes was asked about their red zone success and if he noticed anything different today as opposed to from the last few games.
Yeah, I think it was just execution. I mean, even the plays that didn't score, I felt like we executed and we're in the right position. We had a good feel for what we were going to get, and I thought guys ran the routes the right way. And then when it wasn't there, we made plays happen off script. I say it every week, but I feel like we can do what we want to do as long as we execute. We have the players, we have the playmakers, we have the coaches, and when we execute, we score a lot of points, and we don't.
I think that's reasonable. Again, talking about execution, I do think can be kind of a cop-out answer or like a simple answer to give to the media. Not that it's not true, but that it's not all of the truth. And that's fine. We're never going to get all of the truth all at once. I don't expect that. But I do think that there's something to be said for hey, if Andy Reid was designing all of this with these exact players in Madden, and you could just code it how it would go, and you just played with robots and nobody ever dropped a pass, there were no holding penalties, no tauntings, everything was exactly where you planned for it to be, the Chiefs would be undefeated Super Bowl champions, 5 years running or something, right? Maybe they lose to the Buccaneers. Maybe if you turn off injuries, maybe you're good again. That there is something to that. Obviously, you don't play with robots, much to Urban Meyer's chagrin. But for the Chiefs to get back to their peak form like this one, the execution is a non-negotiable. It has to be a part of what they do on a consistent basis. And today, they did it really well. Here's Mahomes on if he thinks that this team has become a complete one and if that's the direction they're headed in.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying it. With the defense playing the way that they're playing, if the offense can get it rolling like we've been known to do, I mean, we're going to be a tough team to beat. And the defense is playing with confidence. They're understanding the scheme that Spags is calling, and they're playing good. And the offense, I think we're getting better and better each and every week. So I'm just excited to continue to build this momentum and try to keep it rolling into next week.
I mean, I think he's right. This has been a work in progress, but today was the day that it looked like a complete team. Strangely enough, that's happened twice against the Raiders and hasn't really happened anywhere else. The other thing today, though, is this was their best full game of football of the year. They let off the gas a tiny bit in the fourth quarter, but the first play they brought in Chad Henne and Derek Gore turned into a 51-yard touchdown. So they kept their foot on the gas all day long here today. And also executed through all four quarters. Not sure we've seen that this year. Here's Mahomes about the specifics of the Chiefs' success against the Raiders in recent years.
I think it's just you understand that it's going to be a battle. I mean, you understand that there's a rivalry for a reason. You can feel that just being around people in Kansas City. Even though you didn't grow up here, you feel like you've played this team for years. And so for me, I think guys are just knowing that they have to come into the game with that mindset of we have to be great every single drive. And we really accept the challenge and go out there and we've had success.
I would still want one of them to just yell, "We own you," at a bunch of Raiders players or fans or whatever, and they're not going to because they're professionals. But I think it would be funny. Next up from Mahomes here, is there a specific reason for the team's success in winning the turnover battle these last few weeks compared to the start of the season?
I mean, we definitely focused on it. I mean, we focused on not trying to throw it into the wrong spot, kind of placing it in the right spot, runners tucking it and really covering it up in traffic. But I think at the end of the day, it's just guys going out there making plays on defense and offensively just playing hard and rallying to the football.
The Chiefs' 2019 season had some interesting evolutions to it that I think we honestly kind of forget about because we remember the playoffs pretty vividly, but what happened before that can get a little fuzzy. Well, Mahomes was asked if this feels like a similar vibe right now to 2019 when things really started to all come together towards the end of the season.
I mean, there's a feeling of we're coming together and figuring each other out and learning how to play complementary football. But every team's different. I mean, every season's different. You're going to face challenges and adversity together. And we faced a lot of adversity early in the year, which people hadn't seen, and people threw us down and act like we were done. But you're seeing now that we have the guys to do it, and it's if we come together as a team and take it day by day, we can go out there and do what we want to do.
I think there's a little something interesting to the idea that they were up against adversity. I like to think that we were on the right side of this around here. But they were up against adversity and not playing perfectly for like the first time that any of us had seen with a team that looked like this one, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and all of that. So I don't think it's unreasonable to see this as a legit step in their evolution. It's just going to be a super interesting question of what will they do Thursday night? What will they do the remainder of this regular season? Will this show up again in the playoffs? Will they do this multiple games in a row in the playoffs? Then and I would not begrudge you for any opinion on that. If you said this is them, they're back, baby, I'd say that makes sense to me. And if you said, hey, I'm a skeptic just because we've seen this 2 games against the Raiders, but not really any other time fully with both sides of the ball playing this well. If you said I'm a skeptic and I want to see it again, I would understand that 100%. I probably have a little bit of both, honestly. I think this is legitimate, but I would love to see it again before I fully, put the house on it, so to speak. They've had to win differently this year, though. We've talked about that multiple times. The styles of games have fluctuated just as much as the results have. And here's Mahomes talking about winning differently this year. And if he's looked at guys like Tom Brady and tried to learn things from guys like him.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you can even watch the documentary he has out right now. I mean, he just wants to win at the end of the day. And there's all types of guys that have done that. It's awesome to win and throw for 400 yards and 5 touchdowns and all that different type of stuff. And it feels amazing. But I learned in my career that those losses, when you're throwing for all those yards, feel terrible. So you'd rather win no matter what it takes to win. If it's throwing for 100 yards and winning or if it's throwing for 300 yards and winning. As long as you have that W, nothing else matters.
I think that's probably some pretty good perspective there. I'm going to read verbatim what Rudy wrote here. Rudy handles the post-game chopping up for this section of the show, and he writes little throws so I can know what the questions generally were, so you know what the questions were before we hear the answers. It's a pretty good system. Rudy does a great job. But I'm going to read what Rudy wrote verbatim on this one because it sounds very judgy, and my guess is that it's Rudy accurately quoting a very judgy question. Here's what the wording of the question is, though, that I've got. Mahomes was asked about him trying to dance on the sidelines.
I was like joking around, acting like I'm trying to back those guys up. But I'm not the best dancer, so I try to stay away from that. I have a little bit of rhythm, but nothing that you want to put on TV. So I try to stay away from that as much as possible and just try to be the funny guy on the side.
Very judgy tone to that one. Very judgy. And also, I mean, he's self-aware. Maybe have we found the one thing that Patrick Mahomes isn't good at? He's saying it's dancing. I'm not sure I believe it. Maybe he's not an elite dancer, but I feel like he's gonna take 7 dance lessons and be able to teach a master class about it if he decided to do that. Sort of feels like something he would do. Let's go next up here. That's what I was trying to say. Goodness me. To Patrick Mahomes being asked about the tone that was set after that first play of the game with the Chiefs getting the defensive touchdown straight out of the gate.
Yeah, I mean, when guys step up and make plays, I think it was Hughes, or it might have been Jaron Reed that knocked it out and Hughes picked it up. I mean, those guys have been are playing tougher and tougher each and every week and have that confidence. And whenever you get a big play like that in the first play of the game, it builds that momentum, that confidence in the entire team, and it kind of sparked us to go out there and get a win.
Yeah, it makes everything easier. The Raiders were on their 3rd offensive performance of the day by like the 5th minute of the game, which is ridiculous. But 1 play, touchdown. Chiefs give the ball back quickly. Raiders give the ball back quickly. Chiefs touchdown defensively. Raiders get the ball back right away. give it back pretty quickly. Chiefs give it back pretty quickly, and then from there on out, the route was on. Last thing here from Patrick Mahomes, a lot of questions about Legerius Sneed, and everybody really, I think, now has talked about him from this Chiefs team. A lot of guys tweeting even after the game about sort of dedicating this game to Legerius Sneed and his family. Here's Patrick Mahomes asked about how he's tried to support Legerius Sneed through these last couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a tragic situation for him, and as a brotherhood and as an organization, as a team, we're gonna go support our brothers. And so I thought guys played hard, kind of for him today. We got the win, and I'm just praying for him and his family because it's a tough deal, and we want him to be in a good spot as a person before anything on the football field.
There's Patrick Mahomes, and again, our continued thoughts and prayers and condolences for Sneed and the whole family around him there. And again, there's lots. If you want to get more details on any of that, there are lots of places that you can do that now, as more of that information came out in the death of his brother. But it's a horrible situation that sounds like the Chiefs have and his teammates and everything have been there to support him through, and hopefully maybe just a little bit of a fraction of weight off of Legerius Sneed's shoulders today, seeing that the Chiefs did just fine without him out there, and hopefully he's back whenever the time is right for him and his family, for him to return to the football field. We'll take a break here on Sports Radio 810. We'll talk to Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest whenever we come back.
You're listening to exclusive post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB, presented by the Missouri Lottery and CBD American Shaman.
Light up the holidays with an unforgettable gift from Shane Company.
A dazzling mosaic ring covered with diamonds and blue sapphires, because you really want to knock it out of the park this year.
Princess cut diamond solitaire earrings, because you want her to have the very best.
A 14-karat gold Miami Cuban chain, because he's the strongest link.
Come to Shane Company for the largest selection of classic gifts, from hundreds of dollars to thousands. Unique fine jewelry, made with natural diamonds, rubies, and sapphires, selected for their beauty. We have the highest standards for quality and craftsmanship. Whether it's your first holiday together or you've shared a lifetime of love, your gift will be truly special. Visit our store or check out our online gift guide for memorable holiday gifts that'll be treasured for a lifetime. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Building a pool is not a job for amateurs. If you want a pool you'll enjoy for a lifetime, call the pros at Pro-Built Pool & Patio. Pro-Built Pool & Patio is the largest provider of fiberglass pools in the region. Unlike liners, fiberglass pools from Imagine Pools and Pentair Pool Equipment are built to last, and they have over 200 different design options to fit your space. Pro-Built Pool & Patio offers competitive pricing, financing, and the fastest install timelines. Get a free quote by calling 816-786-3893 or go to ProBuiltPatio.com.
Scott Graham here from Westwood One with a preview of Sunday Night Football. From historic Lambeau Field, it's NFC North rivalry action when Aaron Rodgers and the Packers welcome in the Chicago Bears. Green Bay's 9-3 and has a commanding lead in the division, and they're coming off their bye week, which head coach Matt LaFleur says came at a perfect time in the season.
Hopefully it'll allow some of our guys to get some much-needed rest and potentially get some of these guys that sustained injuries to get them back in a better position to be close to 100%. I don't think anybody is 100% at this time of the season.
With Andy Dalton under center, the Bears were thoroughly frustrated last week in a 33-22 loss to the Cardinals. Can they bounce back for an upset win in primetime? Join Ryan Radke and Mike Golick to find out on Sunday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long, right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
For the ones who are always in the know.
Delivery confirmed.
For the ones who keep things running. For the innovators and the problem solvers. Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, experienced staff at local branches, and free access to experts to help answer your toughest questions. So whatever challenge you face, we have the knowledge and products to help. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Napa know
At Napa, get great deals on a variety of Craftsman tools all month long for those DIYers in your family, like the 20-volt drill driver combo with a battery and charger for just $119. With a deal like that, we're putting unfinished projects on notice. Looking at you, loose doorknob. That's the drill driver combo, just $119. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa Know-How.
Napa Know-How.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores and NapaOnline.com while supplies last. Offer ends 12/31/21.
Looking for a job or career change? Let Sports Radio 810 help you out with the 810 Job Connections program. Go to the community page at 810WHB.com and check out the list of partners that are hiring. Is your business wanting to hire? Email Sandy Cohen at scohen@unionbroadcasting.com to see how you can be a part of the 810 Job Connections program. See job opportunities from great companies like Ball's Food Stores, Ruan Transportation, Red Door Wood-Fired Grill, and Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric. Go to 810WHB.com/community.
Dell Technologies' end-of-year sale is the perfect time to upgrade tech. Save big on the latest computers featuring Windows 11 Pro that easily automate workflows. Don't forget to shop servers, storage, and top-brand electronics with savings up to 45% and all with free shipping. Call a Dell Technologies advisor to help you transform your digital workspaces with comprehensive end-to-end solutions. Find the right tech for your business needs at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
It's getting colder here in the heartland, and that means the action in the woods is heating up. So before you head off on your next hunting trip, be sure to check in with your friends at Bushnell. They've got everything you need, from rifle scopes and binoculars to laser rangefinders and trail cameras. Bushnell has you covered. With 75 years of experience in all things outdoors, you'll find reliable gear that helps you increase your chances of success. Visit Bushnell.com for more details. That's Bushnell.com.
Pitch it. Looking to go wide. Edwards Lair. Touchdown. A terrific move. Littleton and Hayward could not get to him. And Kansas City is rolling. Shotgun give. Edwards Lair redirects and plows in. Impressive touchdown. Kansas City.
Everything was working for the Chiefs today. Through the air, on the ground, offense, defense, special teams. Hard to poke any holes in the 48-9 effort that I will continue to read the final scores, actually being 89-23 as the margin of victory, the final score there for these two games combined between the Chiefs and the Raiders this year. And we'll talk about that now with our dear friend Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. As is every week, is brought to you by Bob Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, Router, and Electrical. You better buzz Bob, now offering electrical services, panels, wiring, generators, updating fixtures. They do it all, offering a whole home electrical inspection for just $99. Call 888-4BOB. Remember the 913. That's 888-4BOB. Remember the 913. Always remember to talk to you, Matt Derrick. I know you were tweeting out a lot of various stats and fun numbers from the Chiefs' performance against the Raiders this year. What was your favorite of the fun digits there from what you learned in your research?
I think the best one I just figured out, and I don't have my computer in front of me now, so I hope that I'm getting it right. Chiefs outscored the Raiders this year by 66 points. Is that correct?
I'm going to check. Yeah, that's exactly right. 66 points.
That is the most combined points by which either team has obliterated the other in this 62-year rivalry.
Wow.
It bested the Chiefs' previous best, which was in 2019. So 2 out of the last 3 years, the Chiefs have obliterated the Raiders worse than they have ever done so in the league in the franchise in the rivalry history.
And it felt like it. It felt like it in both of these games. I mean, that's a wild stat, but not a surprising one if you actually watched it. Like, I know this was asked to Reid and Mahomes, and they gave very diplomatic answers. But why have they absolutely mauled the Raiders in ways they have not to other teams this year? What was different today? What was different a few weeks ago?
Well, what was different this season, I think, and honestly, I think it's always been this way. I think this game has always just meant more to Andy. I mean, even though he's not like Marty, in which, Marty was just, he wanted to beat the Raiders more than he wanted to breathe. And that's why we all loved Marty.
Right.
And Andy doesn't talk that way. But at the same time, he makes it clear every year that Raiders Week is different. And even though he knows how to motivate these players, he knows that they don't necessarily care about rivalries that much. But at the same time, he kind of knows how to, figure out ways to motivate them. Clearly a big conversation this week was the bus. Andy was more, fixated with the bus than even Chiefs fans were last year. He wanted. I think he was the only regret about today is I think he wanted John Gruden there to witness it.
Right. Right.
If we find out that he sent John tickets this game, I wouldn't be surprised because I think that he wanted to beat the Raiders down, and you saw it. He did not lift a foot off the gas really at any point.
Yeah.
At one point they kind of called like the play calling. I think that had more to do with wanting to get out of here and not playing a game on Thursday.
Right.
If they didn't have to play again until next Sunday, I think Andy might have tried to score 70 today. But having a coach that doesn't pick the foot off the gas in a game like this, that's how you get margins like that.
Well, right, and the crazy thing, one, is that they did take their foot off the gas when they put in the backups, and then Derek Gore ran for a 51-yard touchdown. So
that helps, too.
That's hilarious. I just love that. And that's not me I'm not saying he took the foot off the gas. He put in the backups because there's another game to play in a few days. Obviously the right call. But they could have gone for it in that 4th and 1 instead of kicking that field goal really late in the game. I tweeted that I was mad at that only in the most petty, unserious way possible. That another touchdown would have been hilarious, but I also 1,000% understand just kicking it there. It's fine. The game was over. I'm not actually mad at everybody.
I'm hoping tomorrow when when we get those emails about the best and worst coaching decisions of the week based on the analytics,
right?
That we get the Raiders being lit up for kicking an extra point, trying to kick an extra point, that missed it.
Yeah.
Down 29. When they could have gone for 2 to make it 27. Come on.
Or kicking a field goal with 2 seconds left deep in the red zone to cut it down to a 32-point margin.
That was pride. That was, we've got to get points on the board, or we're just not going to be able to. We just got to get on the bus and leave.
Right, but they should have gotten on the bus because a field goal there doesn't help you win. It just helps you feel a little better about your big fat goose egg on the board. Anyway.
Outside of that, really the only quibble on the entire day from the Chiefs' performance, I think for the most part, was what was Casey Wolf and why was he wearing a policeman's outfit?
It was weird. I also think it's kind of weird whenever mascots are in army fatigues and stuff. It's just kind of strange. I don't know. I don't know why Casey Wolf was dressed as a police officer.
Casey Wolf showed up in something at training camp this year, and I cannot remember what it was, but I just remember that it sparked quite a bit of conversation. So that's a deep wardrobe that Casey Wolf has.
Yes, there is the Tommy Bahama wardrobe. There's the traditional Casey Wolf wardrobe. Apparently, there's
got the Zubaz.
There's the Zubaz. There's got to be a fireman's outfit in there somewhere, I would have to think. I don't know.
Probably got a Pokemon outfit in there somewhere too.
Now listen here. Now we're talking. Now we're cooking with gas. If we get, oh man, I need to come up with a good. I'll work on a pun while you answer a football question. We'll do that, and I'm gonna see if I can come up with a good Casey Wolf Pokemon pun. It might take a second, but I'm gonna get there. In the meantime, Matt, what are you gonna take from this today in terms of I always like asking what we've learned because I feel like a lot of the times we see the Chiefs play a football game and we don't know what we've learned. Today we saw them absolutely maul the Raiders, and I'm still trying to figure out if we have to wait until Thursday to lock in any long-term takes off this game.
Well, I'm upping my percentage of belief in the defense. I was at 73% entering today's game that the defense was for real, that it really was as good as that they've looked over the last 5 games. Now you take it to 6 games, I am going to up that from 73 to 89%. I'm 89% convinced that this really is the Chiefs' defense. You do this on Thursday, you give up 9 points, so you could probably even get away with giving up maybe 17 to the Chargers. But you turn in another defensive performance like this, where you get some pressure on the quarterback, create some turnovers, you don't give up a lot of points, you win the game in dominating fashion. I'll go to 100. I'm that close to buying in completely, because you absolutely know that around the league there were teams that are in the playoff hunt looking at this and watching that score, and it doesn't matter if it was the Raiders, and they've been kind of falling apart. Beat Dallas a couple of weeks ago, remember? There's teams around us looking at this, and they're thinking, oh, crap, the Chiefs are fixed. The offense is fixed. The defense is playing well. We got to deal with Andy Reid with a good team and not just a good team, a great team. I mean, there's a lot of fear around the league looking at a game like this.
If Casey Wolf dressed up as the little white sea creature with fins replicated off of an animal with the same name, although spelled differently, he could be K-Seal Wolf. He'd be a little seal. Or C-Dot is the name of the little Pokemon that looks like an acorn. He could be K-C-Dot Wolf.
Does Curtis Seabolt have a Pokemon outfit, I wonder?
Wow, great question. All right, I'm gonna have to work on that now. It can make Curtis Sealbolt. That sounds like a Sealbolt. Sounds like a very an unhappy situation for an electrocuted seal.
Oh my goodness, you went to a dark place there, Josh.
I'm not saying no. I'm saying like a lightning strike. You know, I'm not. It's not good.
Still, it's still a dark place.
It's an electric type seal Pokemon. Is that better? I don't know. It just sounds like electricity and seals. And I don't want those two things to combine, but you know, it's what the word evoked, man. It was an evocative phrase. I can't help myself for having an active imagination.
These are the things we have to talk about when we're coming off a 48-9 game.
Right.
There's absolutely nothing negative to talk about.
Right. So I mean, you gave me those stats on the defense. But what about offensively? We've had a little bit of a skepticism about what it's going to take for this unit to look like things are easy again. Maybe more than anything else, it just seems like everything has seemed difficult for this Chiefs offense this year. And today, with a lot of help from the defense and 5 turnovers, of course, but the execution was good and things looked easier.
Well, I mean, good grief. You talk about a Freaky Friday kind of game. I mean, that's what this was. I mean, the Raiders today were the Chiefs through their 3 and 4 stretch. Dropping passes that turned into interceptions, penalties that absolutely kill you, just putting the ball on the ground, mistakes all around. I mean, the Raiders did it all. I mean, they were the definition of a team that just couldn't get out of their own way. And meanwhile, the Chiefs just sat there and just it's like, okay, free money, we'll take it. The offense, I mean, what were they? I mean, I can't say that it was vintage Chiefs offense because it wasn't like they were just, running up and down the field with 3 plays, 75 yards. Okay, it was 5 plays, 80 yards. But they were close to it. I mean, it wasn't just even total short fields. I mean, they made the most of some, other deep, long drives that they had to take part in. The second half, they were just trying to run the clock out, and they did that. I mean, the offense did everything it set out to accomplish today. So, I mean, there's no real criticism there. I mean, the only thing that you could possibly, as a Chiefs fan, be thinking to yourself is just that they're not doing things as easy as they used to. Well, we're talking about the glory days of, all of 18 months ago.
Right.
When the Chiefs had arguably the greatest offense in the history of the NFL. And now they're maybe the best offense in the NFL rather than the greatest in history. That's still pretty good.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think they're getting closer and closer to that. I mean, are they the best offense in the NFL right now? Maybe not. I mean, the numbers would tell you that they're not playing that way right now. But today, were they closer? Yeah, they were.
Yeah, absolutely. We're talking to Matt Derrick here on Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City. I'm Joshua Brisco here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show. Matt Derrick segment every week brought to you by Bob Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, Rooter, and Electrical. On that front with the offense, and maybe this is right down the same vein, but is there something that you would need to see proven still, again, Thursday or in the weeks into the playoffs, that you would need to see to believe that this is going to look more similar to the offense we saw today as opposed to the offense we've seen during some of the more difficult stretches? Because again, I mean, with what we've said about the defense, giving them some help both in some shorter fields and some scores of their own, all of that. Do you have skepticism left, or do you think that there's something else still to prove, or are you pretty much convinced that this offense is going to do at least enough with the help of how well this defense is playing?
Well, I'm grading this team on a curve.
Sure.
I mean, because I'm not even talking about this team in comparison to, whether they should go out and beat the Bengals and the Steelers. I mean, to me, it's all about, is this a team that's ready to go in New England and win the AFC Championship game if they have to and go to a Super Bowl? I mean, that's the curve that we're graded on right now. And I'm getting closer to buying in. I mean, I kind of the same way with the defense. I'm getting closer to buying in. You win Thursday in Los Angeles, and you do it with the defense playing well again. Like I said, give up fewer than 20 points, create some turnovers, just play consistent. Do exactly what this team has done over the last 6 games, and the offense does what it did today. Don't turn the football over, score 30 or more points, beat the Chargers by double digits on the road on a Thursday night, the most difficult thing to do in the NFL, beating a playoff football team on Thursday on the road in a big rout. I mean, if you do that, then I will bet the Chiefs run the table, and I've got them in the AFC title game. Whether that's at home or New England, it's going to be up to New England.
Yeah.
And I've been peeking at the schedule, and if you're a Chiefs fan, you want to become a big Miami Dolphins fan.
Mm-hmm.
Because the Dolphins play both the Titans and the Patriots in the final 2 weeks of the season. And if the Chiefs win out and the Dolphins win those 2 games, Chiefs are AFC number 1 seed. I mean, that's the shortest, easiest road for the Chiefs, is they went out and the Dolphins win those 2 games. So you're a huge Miami Dolphins fan. And I would love to see a repeat of, 2018?
Yes.
When you've got the Chiefs, the Patriots, the Dolphins, all playing at the same time. Kevin Harlan's calling both games.
Yes.
That's what we need to see.
Of the offensive performances today, I'm going to give you a few to pick from here. And I want you to tell me what you think is the most impactful, or what you're going to take with you here into Thursday, into the rest of the season. You get Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who didn't get like a huge workload or anything today, but he was very effective with his carries in the red zone. 2 touchdowns for Clyde today on 10 carries for 37 yards. Darrell Williams did not get a lot of work out of the backfield as a runner, but had that excellent route that culminated in the touchdown as a reception out of the backfield. You got a nice play from Mecole Hardman, really a couple of nice plays from Mecole Hardman. And you got the first touchdown of his Chiefs career for Josh Gordon. If I give you one of those things to kind of take with you, and they're all I think could be relatively small elements of a team performance today, but does one of those rank above the rest for you in terms of importance?
The one to me that has the most potential to make an impact is getting Josh Gordon more involved. Because we know that, hey, Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Darrell Williams can be key contributors. They've been doing it. I mean, that's just continued work. But once again, we go back to that Chiefs offense in 2018 and 2019 when it was so dominant. What did it have? What did it have that this team doesn't? It had Sammy Watkins.
Yep.
And that's the element that that's the difference between having a team that can average 7 yards a play and be the best in NFL history, and average 6.5 yards or 6.25 yards per play and just be one of the best in the league. If you've got a third threat in that passing game, like a Gordon, who, just in so many ways kind of reminds you of Sammy Watkins. I mean, he can absolutely be that kind of guy, a guy who can be physical and do so many different things, but also be a threat in the passing game. If he all of a sudden starts becoming a guy who can go from, having a couple of catches and getting his first touchdown to now all of a sudden having 4 or 5 catches and maybe consistently getting, a red zone touch here and there. Maybe he gets 3 touchdowns the rest of the way. If he becomes that threat, now suddenly I don't think teams can do exactly what they've been doing to the Chiefs this year. So much of what teams have been doing with the Chiefs with these, cover 2 shells and robber and whatever it is the teams have been running against them, it gets a lot harder when you've got 3 threats on the field. I mean, you just can't do it the same way. Yeah. I mean, if Gordon finally gets comfortable, he can be the piece that really gives you that Sammy Watkins effect, and I think really take this offense to the next level. I mean, the other guys, they've been here. I mean, there's nothing that's all of a sudden going to flip a switch that's going to turn them into anything that they aren't. Yeah. But the one guy who can be something more than he has so far is Gordon. And I was not only, I thought it was impressive what he did on the field, but I thought it was really impressive what he had to say, post-game at the podium. I think that's clearly what you hear from Andy Reid, that this is a smart guy who really gets it and has bought in, has been a good teammate. I mean, I think you saw it in spades today.
Last thing, Matt, real quick, we got to get you out of here. The everything else, all of the extracurriculars of the logo and the buses, you mentioned that Andy Reid cared about that. Anything strike you from the press conferences, guys saying they didn't actually necessarily see the pregame stuff, in the rivalry altogether? Anything we've missed from that people should know about?
No, I don't really think so. I mean, I think number 2 on the motivation for this team today was, the bus last year. I think number 3 was dancing on the logo. I mean, you take the players at their face value. A lot of guys didn't know about it.
Yeah.
And even the ones that did, I mean, they were more probably annoyed by it and disappointed in it and insulted by it rather than motivated. I think their motivation was already ratcheted up to a peak that, that just wasn't that much of a factor. I think Legerius Sneed, win for that guy, was a big factor today. I mean, I think that was something that was really on the hearts and minds of this team. I thought that it was really interesting, how the Chiefs had to adjust to that, because when I asked Tyrann Mathieu, what's the process for him taking over Legerius Sneed in the, role in the slot today, he's like, got a text at 5 o'clock Saturday morning, telling me that, hey, this is what you're going to play this week. I mean, the fact that, that you've got a guy like that you lose Legerius Sneed, who was a Pro Bowl caliber corner, and you don't have him. How do you replace him? Oh, you replace him with an all-pro safety that can step in and do do what he does and can play that role. And then you've got Mike Hughes who can step in. I mean, these guys, so many guys I thought played over their heads today. Not that they can't, play that well. But I thought that they certainly played at an emotional level that, we haven't always seen for a while. That team was at an emotional peak today. I don't think. I mean, from 1 to 53. I mean, I think they were that way today.
That's good stuff, Matt. Appreciate you making time for us every week, bringing that to the table today, and we'll talk again in just a few days. We won't even have to be apart for very long this week.
It is a busy week this week. We get everything crammed into 2 days, so.
Get some sleep.
We need your best this week, Josh.
I'm going to try to do my best. Get some sleep, stay hydrated. I'll talk to you. Well, I'll see you Tuesday. I'll talk to you again next Thursday, or this Thursday, I guess. Oh, man. I'm already messing up. Thanks, Matt.
Sounds great. Take care, everybody.
Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. Go to ChiefsDigest.com. Follow him on Twitter at Matt Derrick. We have to take a break. We'll come back and we'll hear from the Raiders and close up shop with some final thoughts next on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You're listening to exclusive post-game coverage on Kansas City's home for the NFL. Sports Radio 810 WHB. Presented by the Missouri Lottery and CBD American Shaman.
Now's the time to establish and or maintain a barrier around your home with Augustine Exterminators. Don't let it break down. At Augustine Exterminators, they have you covered. Augustine Exterminators is a family-owned local business since 1966. All of their techs are certified in both Missouri and Kansas. They are a Quality Pro and Green Pro company. Augustine Exterminators also does carpet, rug, air duct, and tile cleaning. They have an excellent referral program as well. Refer a new customer, and you both get $25 off your next service. That's right. Refer a friend, and you both get $25 off. Shop and buy local with Augustine Exterminators. Call Augustine Exterminators today at 913-359-8627 or go online at AugustineExterminators.com. That's online at AugustineExterminators.com or give them a call, 913-359-8627.
You trained for this all year. Endless hours of cardio, conditioning, and weights. And now you are ready. Ready to trek back to your seat from the concession stand. Through the lines, lost fans, and that mascot who wants you to do a little dancey dance, all without spilling a drop of your ice-cold Bud Light. Welcome back to football, sports fans.
Light up the holidays with a personalized gift from Shane Company.
A diamond-accented charm necklace with her baby's initial, because she's a new mom.
A beautiful 14-karat gold necklace personalized with her birthstone, because the world is better with her in it.
A breathtaking ruby and diamond ring engraved with the date you met, because it was meant to be.
Shane Company will help you create a gift that shows how much you care. With so many unique styles to choose from and the most beautiful diamonds and gemstones, you can create a meaningful gift. We have the highest standards for quality and craftsmanship. Whether you spend a couple $100s or many thousands, she'll know that you put your heart into her gift. Book a virtual or an in-store appointment with a non-commissioned jewelry consultant, or just drop by the store. Check our website for hours. Now you have a friend in the jewelry business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
When you're ready to buy your next car, check out OneRequest. With inventory from nearly every dealer in the country, OneRequest offers a greater selection than other sites that are limited to only the dealers that pay to advertise. And at OneRequest, we don't sell or share your personal contact information. The other sites think your information is valuable, and that's why they sell it. We think it's valuable to you, and that's why we don't. Don't just search for your next car, OneRequest it. Visit OneRequest.com today.
This is Tammy Romstad, the District Athletic Director for the Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools and proud Kansas Cityan. As someone who has spent 30 years in sports at the high school, community college, NCAA Division I, and international levels, I can absolutely say that sports provides opportunities that will open doors for a lifetime. The future of Kansas City, Kansas Public Schools football has been boosted by the generous equipment donations of the D. Pasquale Moore Law Firm. Thank you to Mike and the entire staff for being a company that cares.
Hey, Chrissy, it's Leo. We're going to need some backup on Friday night, okay?
Leo's Limos needs to say I do to 4 commercial drivers.
You booked another wedding on Saturday?
Before wedding season.
No. I'll make it work.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
The power of blue, the power of Miller. As the leader in the welding industry, Miller continues to partner with CK Supply as the local and trusted distributor for all Miller products. Since 1948, CK Supply has offered a combination of products, services, and technical support to meet your expectations. CK Supply is large enough to serve and small enough to care. Give their team a call and discover the difference. If you're looking for a new welding supply partner, support a local family and employee-owned business today at cksupply.com.
Your Kansas City Acura dealers are partnering with quarterback sensation Patrick Mahomes in support of his charity, 15 and the Mahomies, a foundation dedicated to improving the lives of children by focusing on health, wellness, and providing resources for communities in need. Test drive any Acura at J. Wolf Acura and J. Wolf Acura of Overland Park, and they'll make a donation on your behalf. Plus, you'll be entered for a chance to win a Patrick Mahomes jersey. Shop, save, and make a difference at your Kansas City Acura dealers.
Hey Kansas City, it's Jeff Briggs with Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram at the Legends Auto Plaza. Folks, low inventory levels have driven used car values to all-time highs. Whether you buy from us or not, we need your vehicle. At Victory, it's a simple process to get the current value of your car or truck. Simply visit our website and click on the Kelly Blue Book Instant Cash Offer banner. Within minutes, you can view a true cash offer for your vehicle, stop by the dealership, and collect a check. It's that easy. Visit VictoryMotorsKC.com for details.
3rd and 4. Can the Raiders convert? They can. Hunter Renfrow, and then he loses the ball. The Chiefs have it. Carr on 2nd and 3, hits the tight end, and he gives it away. Moreau loses the ball to Matthew. And another Raider turnover. Carr steps up. Carr gets crushed. The ball pops free. Coach's challenge, and it has been reversed. This was a fumble. Counting down to the 2-minute mark. Carr throws. Grabbed by Jones. Loses the ball. Turnover number 5. Hughes knocks it free. And recovered by Thornhill.
A fantastic performance today from the Chiefs defense, although it didn't necessarily spell a fantastic day for the Las Vegas Raiders. As we begin to wrap up here tonight, before we get you to our Sunday night football coverage, Bears at Packers coming up tonight here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We're going to hear from Rich Bisaccia, the interim head coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. And as always, our opposing coach press conference is brought to you by Metcalf CarStar. If your vehicle gets sacked on the road, take it to Metcalf CarStar, the collision repair experts. They make it convenient and easy to get back on the road. Go to carstar.com and search Metcalf CarStar. CarStar, relax. They'll take it from here. Here's Raiders interim head coach, stressing the interim today because I'm pretty confident in it. Rich Bisaccia addressing the media after falling to the Chiefs 48-9.
Okay. Obviously, I don't know if I have a lot of words for it. It was bad in all phases. No chance of winning a football game. You turn it over 5 times, and I think the last turnover going down on the last drive is probably a microcosm of what the whole game looked like. You know, we got the ball to, we think, are good players early in the game, and we had some fumbles. You know, started off with the first play of the game, obviously with a fumble. Then as the game went on, we started to miss more and more tackles, and we had more drop passes, and we had penalties on third down again on defense, and gave up some explosive plays, and struggled to protect the quarterback, struggled to run the football, and then on top of all that, you know, miss a PAT. And you know, right before the half, I wanted to kick a field goal there if we got in that situation where we could at least come out of the half with some points, give us some hope. We can come back, start the second half, maybe get a stop, go down and get a score, and then try to play the game from there one drive at a time. So I told the coaches and the players in there that we have to look at ourselves as coaches. Players have to look at themselves as players, and then we'll make some adjustments on a short week as we get ready to go to Cleveland. And with that, I'll take any questions you may have.
Rich, what is the mood in the locker room right now after the kind of game that you guys played today?
Yeah, the mood right now is not very good, obviously. You know, so talking amongst themselves, but that's exactly what I told them. I told them that these kind of games will bring out the best and worst in all of us, and it'll be easy to see which one comes out, right? I told the coaches and in front of the players that we need to look at ourselves as coaches, and they need to look at themselves as players. And we'll have conversations going into the week and be ready to play the next game in Cleveland.
Rich, talk about what happens during the week and the process leading up to. Did you see anything in this? Did you see anything in the preparation?
No, I'd love to tell you that'd be a great excuse if I said, boy, we had a really bad week of practice and I saw this coming. So I can't say that. I thought we had a good week of practice. I thought we had really good Thursday's practice. And I didn't see this coming. I didn't see the turnovers by good players, you know. So when that happens to you, kind of your expectations start getting a little, oh, geez, what's going to happen next? And I think you saw that. It was a little bit of a snowball effect throughout the whole game. And again, have one on the end like that the last drive, look back and go, that's kind of what the whole game looked like. So keep up the big run. You know, on defense, that's a little uncharacteristic of us. You know, we kind of preach, play to the bitter end. And again, I didn't think it looked like that from my standpoint at this particular time.
You guys are down 28-0 at one point. You had 2 running plays back to back. You want to see a more aggressive approach at that point, like more aggression on offense?
Again, I think we were still 28-0. You know, you got a chance to be in the game, and we'd like to still have some play action possibilities going through the rest of the game. But it didn't look like we ran the ball effectively, whether it was early, and then we didn't run it much late. But again, once we lose our play action game and then becomes a drop back game, it's difficult again for our guys right now to hold up, protect against this particular front for the rest of that game. So we're just trying to still be able to establish some sort of run game to get our play action game going as well.
It was obviously early, Rich, when the first play of the game.
Yeah, first play of the game.
I mean, how much does that take the wind out of the sails at that point?
Well, you know, I would like to think we're prepared for adversity. You know, it's going to happen somewhere in the course of a game. Now, if it happens early, you know, you just got to rebound and get going. And the first play of the game, we're down 7-0. Mahomes hasn't even hit the field yet. So, and then after that, the kickoff return kind of hung up in the air and it gets bounced off his hands and goes out of bounds, I think, at the 11. And so now we're playing from behind the 8 ball a little bit. So, yeah, I think you'd like to think you can prepare your team for adversity when it shows up. You'd rather not show up on the first drive. But if it does, respond, right? How are we going to respond? And I just didn't think we responded well the whole day.
Rich, you guys haven't really had a loss like this season, but as somebody obviously coached so many different teams, what goes into the process of bouncing back when you have a loss like this? What things you're seeing successfully pull it off? Well,
you know, we're all professional coaches and players, and I think we're all being evaluated by our performance on the field and our actions off the field. So, number one job of pro players is to protect his job. Number one way to protect your job is your performance on the field. And so we'll see what practice looks like this week. We'll take a look at what our personnel is for us. We'll dig deep into what we did as coaches and have a chance to respond come tomorrow and move on to Cleveland.
It's not a major thing, but maybe because of injury, did you ever think of Mariota?
It didn't really come to that particular point where we were going to make a change at the time. Again, I thought we were moving the ball down the field when we had those particular fumbles or turnovers, and we had some drops as well during the course of the game where it was down the field. So.
That's Raiders head coach Rich Bisaccia here. Our opposing coach press conference brought to you by Metcalf CarStar. Real quick, I want you to hear this clip from KJ Wright, the Raiders linebacker.
QJ, a lot of people are upset, I guess, on their side about the pregame when you guys met on that midfield on their logo. Is that all overblown as part of a rivalry, or is that something you guys regret?
Who's upset?
people from the Chiefs and things.
Yeah.
Since, I mean, you're in a hostile environment like you talked about.
Yeah, I would have been upset too if I was them. Anybody that comes there and do that, and they definitely came out and responded, to their anchor, and we couldn't hold up. They was put up a lot of points, got the ball off of us, and we just didn't respond when we did that.
Was that just kind of a spur of the moment thing?
It was spur of the moment, and one guy said, "Let's go," and we all got to ride together. We all went out there together. We did it as a team, and just gave them a little more motivation than we needed to give them.
Interesting, and I wanted you to have a chance to hear from the Raiders' side on that. It sounds like it may have gotten away from even them a little bit, but ultimately that's the result, and the result following that is a 48-9 absolute throttling. Chiefs over Raiders, giving them a final score in the matchup of the two games this year of 89-23. Next up for the Chiefs, no rest for the winning as they will go to L.A. for Thursday Night Football against the Los Angeles Chargers. Thanks to Beards McFly and Rudy Salazar, I'm Joshua Brisco. We'll be back on Thursday for Chiefs-Chargers right here on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Postgame Show, presented by Missouri Lottery and CBD American Shaman.